Lender, member FDIC.
Mark Rose's experience is unique. City Court Judge in Little Falls for the last 14 years. Visiting judge for Utica. As a 30-year practicing attorney, Mark Rose has argued cases at all levels up to the Court of Appeals. He's served as a municipal attorney in towns and villages across New York's 5th Judicial District. And now Mark Rose is running for state Supreme Court to serve all of us. Experience, integrity. Mark Rose for state Supreme Court.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Rose for state Supreme Court.
In Albany, the only political party that matters is the majority party.
I'm Assemblywoman Mary Ann Buttonshaw, and I'm a member of the Assembly's majority. As a member of the Assembly, I do more for the Mohawk Valley. More funding for Utica, Rome, and Whitesboro schools than ever before. Almost $500,000 for local fire departments. $125,000 for the town of Deerfield. More funding from Albany means a stronger Mohawk Valley. Wolfspeed means good jobs. The Nexus Center means more recreation and tourism opportunities. Griffith's Business and Technology Park assures our future in high-tech economy. As a member of the Assembly, I brought your voice and your values to the state capitol and brought back expanded youth and senior program funding for our cities and towns and $1 million to assist our youth in crisis at the House of Good Shepherd. Given the chance, I'll do more. That's why the Friends of Mary Ann Buttonshaw paid for this message.
We all like convenience, right? ATMs, takeout food, drive-through pharmacies. Now, Bremer's is making it just as convenient to enjoy your favorite wines and spirits with Bremer's to go. It's simple. Place your order at bremerswineandliquor.com or save $5 on your first order with our mobile app. Order before 5 p.m. for pickup the same day. Hey, you could even call us when you get to the store and we'll bring your order right out and load it in the car for you. Now that's convenience. Maybe you're planning a party. Maybe you want to stock up on your favorite wines. Or you just want to save time when you're out and about. Whatever the reason, at Bremer's, we're all about incredible customer service. So when you're on the go, we are too. Order at bremerswineandliquor.com or save $5 with our mobile app. Order before 5 p.m. for pickup the same day. It's Bremer's to go, available 7 days a week from Bremer's Wine and Liquor on Commercial Drive in New Hartford.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go.
And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. It is 6:18 and Monday, Halloween. So how does the Halloween work? In some areas, like in the valley, there are set times. But I think up here, it's just you come knocking on the door, right?
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, growing up in Utica, it was always willy-nilly. I mean, you would, and I'm sure it's still the same today. I shouldn't say I'm sure.
I think it is.
But kids were out, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh.
They'll be out tonight, you know.
Well, they're knocking on my door. I don't have candy even yet. So Don't go knocking on my door.
Same thing here. Now, for instance, in like New York Mills and Whitesboro, I know, it is typically the night of. But I know it's not a surprise to see someone knocking on your door on Saturday night. When you have Halloween on a Monday like this, some kids were out in costume this weekend. And I know, like, I can't remember when Utica did it, the police department, but the Rome Police Department did a trunk or treat on Wednesday. There were a few collections that were done actually on Wednesday night. I shouldn't say collections, trick or treating that was done on Wednesday night with some local agencies.
So anyway, it is Halloween and Monday night, and as we said, early voting is underway. It got underway on Saturday, and you'll be able to do that all week long, right up until I believe Sunday, right?
Yep.
And then Election Day is a week from tomorrow. Interesting story for Republicans in Oneida County. There was in the Oneida County Republican Committee. There was a bit of a battle a while back. As we've said, there's been an opportunity, it seems, or an effort, I should say, for a certain small faction of the Republican Party to, and many of them who have not, or just new Republicans, like a Jim Zecca, who used to be a Democrat and is now a big Trump supporter and a conservative Republican, so he says. But you saw a movement to really take over the party, and it ended up in court. There was a lawsuit against the Oneida County Republican Committee, and in particular against Chairman Pete Sobel. And on Friday, that big takeover fizzled out.
So it was an effort they were suing?
Here's what I know, and I really we really have to. We really have to get into this with somebody who's into the nitty-gritty of the whole thing. But Pete Sobel put out a release on Friday. I'm writing to inform you the lawsuit filed by the Constitutional Caucus. So it's that group.
Yeah.
It's there's several of the candidates, a handful of them anyway, that are out there, and they wanted really to have their place in the Republican Party. The problem is they're outnumbered by almost 80-20. And maybe
by all the rhinos?
Maybe it's 75-25, by all the rhinos, of course. And it's the lawsuit was filed by Constitutional Caucus member Steve Piacentino, and he filed it against Pete Sobel and the United County Republican Committee. That lawsuit was dismissed on Friday. And the court decision, according to what Pete Sobel wrote, rendered by the state Supreme Court Justice Scott Del Conte, the reelection of Oneida County Republican Chairman Pete Sobel by a margin of, here it is, 74 to 26% was upheld. The dismissal of the case with prejudice upholds the overwhelming victory that this is being written to Oneida County Republican Committee members, rendered in granting me another 2-year term as party chairman. Lawsuits filed by individuals who have no desire to work with their fellow Republicans drive a wedge between all members of the party. I'm interested in growing our party, electing great candidates, and representing everyone who wishes to participate in a productive and meaningful way. The lawsuit was detrimental to the party and the committee. It served only one purpose: the continued attention-getting of Piacentino at the behest of a handful of others who spend more time fighting with fellow Republicans than working to get Republicans elected to office.
Oh, wow.
And that is that. So who do we know running as part of the Constitutional Party right now? Is that the guy that's running against Maciel? I believe that's the Constitutional Party.
So I believe they're backing him. I don't know that he. I think he does, but I can't say for sure. I know that they support him. That's who they'll be voting for. But I don't know that he sought their endorsement, for instance.
The only thing this lawsuit succeeded in doing was to divert our committee's attention away from what is most important: winning elections on November 8th. It's my view that our energies are better spent competing with Democrats than denigrating our own committee. Today's decision.
Where's my bell?
Today's the decision allows the United County Republican Committee to move forward, and I believe not only did the judge throw the case out, but basically said you were late in filing, and in addition to that, you got beat anyway. Look at the vote, 74-26.
I was just going to say.
What are you suing over?
Yeah, it wasn't that close. I was kind of surprised to hear you give that number, 74-26. I thought maybe 51-49, 52-48. It came down to a vote or two. There was some question about it, so we're going to sue to either get that vote suspended or recast. It's not even. It's 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 went with
So
Sobel.
a big loss for Piacentino and the entire unconstitutional committee in Oneida County, because that's really what they are. They're a bunch of morons. So call up and defy what I just said, please. Bunch of goofballs.
I like that you said the Constitutional Caucus was deemed unconstitutional.
It's unconstitutional. You don't know how to follow rules. You can't get your petitions in on time. You can't even get a vote done. I mean, and this all stems from the masks mandate. They wanted, they wanted. Well, so what did you want? You had a mandate from the state requiring certain things that had to be done. You do not have the ability to, I'm not going to follow these rules. We're going to, despite the fact that it's being mandated, we're not going to follow it. You don't have the legal right to do that. And that's just one of the issues. Really what they want is some control. And they don't have any. And that, when you don't have control, you feel you kind of feel uncomfortable. And maybe that's how they feel. My guess is they felt even more uncomfortable. And you know what they're going to say now is that, oh, of course we lost. It's all rigged. The fix is on, right?
Again, I can't get over the 74-26. I thought it was significantly closer than that.
Oh.
To make a move to say that we should be, or I should be,
this is basically,
or we should be in charge.
This is an anti-Pacenti move. It's an anti-establishment move, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And these are your real strong Trump supporters. These are Zecca's group that get out with their signs and again, this is not anything on Trump. It's just these are the all-inners, if you will.
Yeah, and for those listening, this is the group, and I'm not criticizing, back whoever they want, but this is the group that we talked to when Trump was running. That would come in studio, right? You mentioned with the signs.
I used to enjoy them coming in. I really did. But, at some point they stopped. Like Zecca, I won't go on that show. He's not fair. You mean letting you in the studio with your stupid signs and all that crap? It wasn't fair. Wait a minute. Because that group is, if you say, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I respect your right to believe the way you believe. And, oh, by the way, I'll give you a platform, one that actually really matters, unlike the one that falls in the forest and it doesn't fall because you didn't hear it. Give me a break. Jokes. Bunch of jokes. These people are nuts. You know what? If Zecca just had half a brain, he could be liked by people. He could be a part of the process. But instead he chooses to defy, and he's rejected. And it's such a shame because I like him.
I was going to say, I like Jim.
I do too. But unfortunately, I don't know. He just refuses to, for me, I judge people. I will be honest. I do judge people that they won't come on the show for whatever reason. I do get kind of judgmental over that.
So
is that wrong of me? I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
I mean, and all you got to do, the same thing with the whole no hospital downtown. Same thing there. They used to always come on. And people would say to me, why do you let them on? Well, they have the right. They have an opinion. Why, albeit something you may not agree with and I don't agree with and I feel they're wrong. And I have no problem saying that. They have the right. They do. Don't they have the right to still hang that sign, which I think is still hanging over there on Genesee Street?
It's on the building.
I mean, they have the right to do it. And I feel that it is our job to allow all different opinions to come on. But I'm not going to say that I agree. I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with you if I don't. That's just, but I'm not going to demean you either. I'm going to give you a chance to give your opinion. I might have a few questions that counter it, and maybe even a few comments. But at the end of the day, we both get to talk, and isn't that the American way?
When you talk about the split in the party, I feel like there was the Republican primary in the 22nd district. So you had Brandon Williams and you had Steve Wells. I think the establishment Republicans were more toward Steve Wells.
Apparently not, though. I mean, I see what you're saying. The established organization.
Yes.
But when it came down to it, the overall general vote was for Brandon Williams.
Yeah, Brandon Williams obviously won. But I only say that to say that
this constitutional group, was against Steve Wells. And their whole thing, when they kept going to his whatever few meetings that he actually, public appearances that he had, which I think that was a big mistake, their whole thing was about, do you support President Trump? And he kept saying, I do, and if he's the nominee, I will support him. And, you know, there's this election denier thing that goes out there, too. There are people that still believe that there are all of these missing votes and dead people were voting, despite the fact that there's no proof. And in almost every case, it was a Republican judge that actually made the final decision. But I think that there becomes that moment where if you're not with us, you must be against us, and you're now a rhino. We consider you a rhino. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, these are former Democrats out there that are calling these longtime Republicans rhinos. It's like, what is going on here? And that's what this lawsuit was about. And it got thrown out. And I'm sure it was unfair, and I'm sure they got cheated. I'm sure somebody's on the take. Isn't that right? There's got to be, right? Because how could they lose? How could they lose unless someone's on the take?
So I did reach out to Steve Piacentino and invite him on the show. This was late last week. This was Wednesday or Thursday.
That's not their thing. They don't like questions. They don't like to give answers. They sit in their little corner in their safe place, and they spew their little things. They yell from the back seats at people when they're trying to speak. That's their whole thing. They're afraid to come on the radio. They can't answer questions. Cowardice activity. Anything else, Jeff? Do you want anything else? Do you want any other opinion? Do you want any other opinion? I can give more if you want.
That's Bill's opinion, just to be clear. I did reach out to Steve Piacentino last week. He said, I appreciate you reaching out regarding the lawsuit. I'm not at liberty to comment at this time. He's welcome to come on, and certainly Mr. Zecca, if he wants to weigh in.
What is there to comment about? We got beat 76-24. The judge threw the case out, said we didn't make the deadline when it came to whatever it is they were trying to accomplish, and you got spanked. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I'll mention that I've reached out to Brandon Williams' campaign several times as well.
He's another one that won't come out. I don't even get that because I don't think although there was a part where I think he was kind of overtaken by the Constitutional Party, this group of jamokes, and but I think he's distanced himself a little bit because he realized what he was really dealing with here.
Well, that's interesting. I do see, and I said...
Yet he still won't come on this program. I don't know, we're going to attack him or something.
In one of the multiple emails that I've sent, I said, we want to give you the opportunity to respond to the attack ads, because I think we see a lot of see and hear a lot of Brandon Williams attack ads.
I like truffles. I don't know about anybody else.
I don't get the truffle criticism. He's a business owner.
You have a business. It's a unique business in upstate New York. And you got a bunch of the commercial is basically saying his family grows or farms truffles. Isn't that weird? We shouldn't like them. Yeah. That is the dumbest commercial I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, right. He's running a farm to some degree. It might not be a dairy farm, but it's a farm.
Right.
It's I don't quite get that.
A good American, they have cows and milk. I mean, not truffles. What are these? Looks like coal to me. I mean, I just don't understand that.
The other thing is I wanted to give him an opportunity because I see this in almost every ad that targets him is the audio clip of him saying, I'm pro-life with no exceptions or something to that effect. I forget exactly how he words it.
Right.
Without any pre-qualifications is what he
Correct.
says.
In other words, even if the mother was facing possible death, he's still against abortion.
Right, and the ads go on to say that. And I would just like to know if that is actually how he feels. I think a lot of times the opposing party or opposing candidate will take a snippet of information and fill in the blanks. I don't necessarily know that's where Brandon Williams stands on those issues, but I'm sure that I keep hearing the attack ads that claim that.
Correct.
So we wanted to give him a chance to address some of these things. And I have not heard back from
I
this
will
campaign.
not vote for anybody that is afraid to come on the program. I could not vote for that person. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you're, and to be honest with you, let's say you came on a show, and the host just completely ambushed you and attacked you and demeaned you. you'd be able to walk away from that looking pretty good. Like, look, I'm a victim here. How could this person do this to me? It actually would be beneficial to you if you're looking for votes, I believe. Unless you're doing something really nasty and that host uncovered something that you're doing really wrong, that might hurt you. But if you have nothing to hide, you can't be hurt, and you should be strong enough. You're going to have to stand up on a floor of whatever office you're running for, or in some position of leadership. You're going to have to stand up and fight for what you believe in. I'm afraid to come on. I'm afraid to go on the radio. I'm afraid to go on Fox News. I'm afraid to go on a liberal station. I'm afraid to, I mean, whoever it is, whatever the platform, whatever the political party, if you're afraid to go on, what are you hiding?
Yeah. I also think, just following up on the comment about the abortion and everything, a lot of times people say things, but there's no context, right? So if you looked at something Joe Biden said 20 years ago, right? And then, but if he would never talk about it, you would go, "Oh, what did he mean by that?" Et cetera, et cetera. I just think when you get to hear from somebody, you get to understand the way they feel about a certain thing or why they feel a certain way. And maybe he is hardline on abortion, absolutely no exceptions.
Well, but he
might have an explanation that you go, "I can understand why somebody feels that way."
Correct, and I do believe that right now, I feel like abortion is Roe v. Wade, and that is will play a role in the midterms. But I think what's playing a bigger role is, it seems, based on where any of the early voting is going, the early polling that we're looking at, there seems to be a move towards Republicans right now. And I think Brandon Williams' victory is a great example of that. And therefore, I kind of feel like abortion is not the number one issue for voters right now. It's probably number 2 or number 3, but there are 2 issues that seem to be overshadowing that. And number 1 is what you're going to be paying to heat your home this year, along with everything else. And number 2 is safety and bail reform, et cetera, et cetera. I think those are the 2 top issues right now, at the very least, the top 3 issues that would include Roe v. Wade. Just
Agreed.
My take on the whole thing. And speaking of that, did you see Elon Musk now has Twitter? He now owns Twitter, and he's already had to remove one of his tweets. So
wait, they're taking his tweets down?
We don't know if they took it down or if he took it down, but he owns it now. But they do have a policy that far looser, far less stringent than what the previous Twitter organization was allowing. That, of course, it resulted in the removal of President Trump. And now Elon Musk says President Trump can return to the platform. Many expect that he probably will. But beyond that, Elon Musk had his own tweet removed. Now, chances are he removed it. But here was what the tweet was about. It was about Nancy Pelosi's husband. On Friday, during the radio program, the news broke that overnight on Friday morning, Pelosi, someone broke into his house and beat him up and actually hit him with a hammer, fractured his head, and somehow police were called during that. He was being held. It seems like the guy who broke in was looking for Nancy. So and this guy is a conspiracy type guy. It seems based on his writings, and chances are had fallen into the, probably believe she's consuming virgin baby blood or something like that. I don't know, whatever that QAnon thing is. Anyway, the tweet that Musk put out was apparently received so much criticism that even he took it down, and it might have been a few hours later or even a day later. But basically, it was he forwarded or reposted a piece that was an opinion piece in a newspaper that made a claim that was false, and has been proven to be false. But I guess there'll be some that won't believe that it's false. But here's the claim: is that that Nancy Pelosi's husband got drunk, ordered a male prostitute, and that prostitute came and beat him up.
Oh,
which there seems to be zero evidence to that being true. But even if it was the case, I guess it's still a terrible situation that the guy got beat up. But I don't believe it's the case. So that is the tweet that Elon Musk backed away from.
Yeah, interesting. He should take that down probably if there's no evidence to back that up. That's an interesting claim.
Yeah.
Also, Elon Musk is in the news today as well because he's giving Twitter employees an ultimatum. Have you seen this?
No.
They have until November 7th, which is the day before the election, to launch a new Twitter Blue subscription, or they will be fired, Musk says. The company's current subscription option is $4.99 a month. It unlocks more features in the Twitter app. He's pushing a new Twitter Blue subscription that would cost $20 and give users a blue verified check mark on their accounts. So he's in the news. He's going to be in the news this week as this continues to play out.
So you could get verified, because it's hard to get verified on Twitter. So you could get verified by subscribing.
Correct. It obviously would link some type of a payment information. So I think that's what they're going with, the verification. Yeah,
verify that that's who you are. Interesting. Okay. We mentioned today is Halloween, and on the line right now is Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. And there are a lot of, it's always interesting around election time to see what the trends are in terms of what are people dressing up as. And Tanya J. Powers, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So I was shocked the other day, and I don't even understand this, but they went around New York State and determined what the number one costume was throughout the state, city by city. And Utica came in as a cow costume. Number one costume, cow costume. I don't think I've ever seen anyone wear a cow costume in Utica. I've seen a lot of cows. Maybe they were getting confused. Those are real cows. It's not a costume.
Maybe it was a costume for the cow because we have so many around here.
Might have been. So what do we know on the big? I know it doesn't surprise you from down there in the city that we would be dressing up as cows up here, but we were surprised.
Here's the thing I want to know: is if Manaski is correct there, and they're for the cows, I just want video of somebody trying to put this on the cow, because I was raised on a farm with a lot of cows, and I can just tell you, I don't think they're going to take kindly to that. I'm just saying.
You're right.
Maybe a little headband, but like when you get into like onesie action there or with a superhero cape, I think they're going to just politely decline, is what I think.
There's a reason. It's a very good point. There's a reason why you don't see people throwing a saddle on a cow and riding it around. You think a horse will buck.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. Yes. You are correct. When you look at, according to the Google search data, as far as like the top costumes in New York State, it was Fairy, Witch, and Spider-Man. Which, okay, I can definitely
agree.
go with the Spider-Man part. Yeah. And I'm sure the other two were probably, and those are not real. The fairy and the witch aren't super difficult costumes to put together either. So I think that may also have a lot to do with what we're seeing in some of the search stuff is, like how hard is it to do this costume? How quickly can we put something together if we haven't planned for like weeks and ordered things and braved the Spirit Halloween store and all that? I always find those searches very interesting, just like you. I think it's fascinating what people, look for and come up with. As far as the number one costume, as far as United States wide, according to Google, and they just looked at search data, it was a witch, which, like I said, maybe it's because of the simplicity.
It's easy to Some people actually already are dressed up as a witch. I've met a few in my times where they're like that every single day. So I had a little green paint, and voila, there you go. You are the witch. Do you get a lot of trick-or-treaters at your place in the city?
We don't in our building because, you can't just like come and go in apartment buildings.
Right.
To, go see somebody, to buzz you up. It's, really kind of takes the element of, hey, I'm here.
You're right.
For good reason. No, what they normally do here in the city is the kids trick-or-treat in stores.
Right.
They'll trick-or-treat in the bodegas or and not just there, but like other kinds of stores. They'll be open, or they'll have somebody will sit out by the door with candy for the kids. And, it's a really kind of a neighborhood sort of thing. A lot of the neighborhood associations, like the street associations, will block off the like a block on the street,
Right.
and for traffic, and have stuff for the kids, and they'll like go down through the long block, and they'll trick or treat there, and kind of get different face painting or whatever they'll have. They'll have different things for kids, and they do a lot of that as well.
It is interesting that I think for those that don't live in New York City, you don't realize that it is a very big neighborhood. There are a lot of different neighborhoods. If you live in a certain section of the city or a certain neighborhood, that becomes your neighborhood, and they're very similar to what you'd see in small towns. There's that camaraderie inside the neighborhood.
It is. I mean, I see the same people in my neighborhood all the time. I know several people. I mean, like a lot of people in my neighborhood, just because of the fact that I see them on the street, and like we'll be like walking the dogs or whatever, and people will meet other people with dogs, and then they'll introduce us to somebody else, or like, hey, this is my neighbor so and so. I've met more folks like that just like live in my immediate area, which I always found interesting because there's this big thought that nobody in New York City knows each other, and
right.
That's not necessarily correct.
Good stuff. We appreciate it, Tanya, as always. Have a wonderful Halloween, and we'll talk again soon. All right, thank you.
Take care, Tanya.
Tanya J. Powers from Fox News.
So I think it's important to keep an eye out for, and I'm glad we warned Tanya, that if you're driving up a rural road today and you see several, cattle out in the field, it might actually be the Paw Patrol. They're not just in costume. It could be the Paw Patrol. And I also wanted to say that I never thought about that in New York City before, but it would take the wind out of my sails if trick-or-treating, you had to scale 14 flights of steps just to get that Snickers bar and a Reese's. I would not be wanting to go door to door.
It would be much more,
It's a lot of work.
Too much work. It's much easier today to just steal it. Right, just shoplift.
That was my thought in the bodegas. It's like the kids come in to get candy, and today it's trick or treat, and tomorrow it's petty larceny. Right.
That's right. On the commercial, on the Brandon Williams commercial we were talking about, the Truffles commercial. This person says the commercial tries to make the truffles look like manure.
Isn't that what they look like?
Seriously, watch it, and it looks like defecation.
Is that what a truffle looks like, though? An uncut truffle?
I guess you take it out of the ground, but I feel like that's where they're going with it in the commercial. So at one point, the person says, I don't know, is it coal? Now, coal is considered bad, right?
Right.
That's what Santa brings and puts in your stocking. And then it kind of looks like you're holding some cow manure. I just don't understand that commercial, where they're going with that. But that's just one of many that completely don't make sense. I think there was one of the commercials that was tying Brandon Williams to Nancy or to Kathy Hochul. How do you remember the one where Claudia Tenney was being tied to Andrew Cuomo?
Right.
Well, no one's going to believe that.
Yeah.
These commercials, and they're all done by the congressional committees, and I just don't think they know their neighborhoods. Speaking of neighborhoods. Quick break, and we'll come back here. Anything to pop in? You have an opinion on any of this? 315-736-0186. You could be listening on our app, which is an easy download through the App Store and Google Play, or 106.9 FM, 9:50 a.m., or we're streaming live here this morning in full high definition. Could be right up on your big screen TV on YouTube Live. Search for Keeler live stream at 648 at WIBX.
Julie Grow Denton, longtime practicing attorney and law clerk in federal, state supreme, and county surrogate court. Julie Grow Denton, high school valedictorian, honors graduate from Bucknell and Harvard Law. Julie Grow Denton, candidate for state Supreme Court.
I'm Julie Grow Denton. Every community deserves to have judges in whom you take great pride. From an early age, my parents instilled a love of family and a strong work ethic. Born and raised near my dad's family in Rome, vacations and holidays with my mom's family in the North Country. My career has brought me to courtrooms and law offices across our region, all while raising 2 children with my husband, driving them throughout central New York for scholastics and sports. I know our communities. I value the importance of treating others with respect. I love the law, and I will make you proud. I ask for your vote.
Elect Julie Grow Denton to State Supreme Court.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Julie Grow Denton for Supreme Court.
This is Harry G., the heat pump expert from Country Suburban. With New York State planning to eliminate fossil fuels, heat pumps are the wave of the future. Heat pumps can save you up to 30% or more on your heating and cooling bills. Right now, you can receive up to $20,000 in heat pump incentives. Call 315-735-5300 for a free estimate.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief watching the world lose its mind. As we all know, global problems have local consequences, too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today's the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits are in stock and ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats standing in government food lines. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall? Well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 6:52. Big night for the Bills last night, although a little bit on the, Davey, they were a little on the sloppy side in the second half, right?
Yeah, Josh threw 2 interceptions.
However, it was a big win, and I will say it's so amazing to watch like Tom Brady struggling this year, and the Packers struggling.
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers just looks terrible.
He's got no receivers.
And, yeah, I mean, he was running a couple times. He was running for his life last night. We want to give you a chance to win for the Billy Joel Tribute Show. It's Friday night. Rick Zaccaro and a whole bunch of others. Mark from Big Apple, Scott Rutledge, Mike Galimi, Greeley Ford, John Dugan, Ron Zaccaro, Julie Scranton, all performing this Friday at the Stanley Theater. And a pair of tickets to caller number 3, Davey, right now. We'll give you a pair for Friday night at the Stanley. 315-736-0186, caller number 3. On the line right now is Ann in Rome. Hello, Ann. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
I just want to tell you, first of all, about Halloween.
Okay.
Kids love me. Parents hate me. I hand out little bags of candy with Halloween whistles.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, you hear them all over the neighborhood.
That is so
I
funny.
actually had a mother tell me yesterday she wanted my address so she wouldn't send her kid to my house.
That is
I
so funny.
laughed.
That's
They
a great.
love them, but you know where the kids are.
Mm-hmm. Right. You know exactly where they are. Just listen.
And I went to go vote.
Yes.
First thing Saturday. I was a little sad I got there 9:07. And there was a line. There were a lot of people.
Oh.
People were very nice. The lines are moving right along in Rome. Hats off to the people at the South Rome Senior Center.
I do say, if I could, that is, I think we're going to have a really big turnout for this midterm.
Well, and I think that the Republicans keep pushing this, we're going to let mothers die like they did with we're going to push grandma over the cliff in a wheelchair. They're pushing this, we're going to let women die. I think it's a terrible thing to say. It's not true. If somebody said it, then prove that they did say it because it's an awful thing.
Right.
But as far as the real things people should look at, Chuck Schumer with his $290 million, he wants to help people with drugs. Why don't you tell your boss, close the border, let's stop bringing over fentanyl. It's a big issue.
I would say, Ann, it is interesting to see how Schumer and the other one who doesn't remember our name, so I can never remember hers. Those two barely have an opponent, and in fact, I don't think they spent any money at all. And Schumer's just out there running a few commercials. There's just no
Vote
opposition.
for me, everybody.
But a story on NBC Nightly News last night said that, and I'm going to tell you, I am a little bit suspicious. Like, the best thing that ever happened to Democrats right now is getting polling that is showing the race to be close. And I take this back to Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. Trump never should have won, but everybody thought he couldn't win. And Democrats, their vote did not get out because they all thought it was just a foregone conclusion. Hillary Clinton was going to be president. And look at what happened. So now, mysteriously, all of a sudden, we have all these polls coming out and saying it's a horse race. It's close. You better get your vote out. I find that maybe like Democrats learned from 2016. Just my little, it's an interesting take.
In 2016, when Trump ran, I had a friend call me up saying, I can't believe she's winning. And I said, what are you watching? Are you watching the Clinton News Network or MSDNC? I have Fox on, and he's ahead. Well,
there was
people do these things.
And there was one poll that had Trump ahead.
This was the night of the election.
Well, that's
the actual night of the
different,
election when they were showing the Electoral College.
I see. Right.
They had her numbers higher, and I said,
but don't you see how that hurt her? That hurt her. When people think they've won, they're like, I don't have to get out. It doesn't matter. That is what I think they're trying to avoid this time around. Oh my God, it's close. It's close.
No, I think what the Democrats are doing are pushing these polls so Republicans say, why go vote for him? He's going to lose anyway.
Well, right. That's my point. Yeah, that's exactly my point.
They learned.
Yeah.
They learned how to make it so that people get disgusted and they won't go out and vote. But trust me when I tell you that red wave's coming. And Governor Hotmess, I hope I can see the day that she's gone with her. Why does he keep going on about all this crime? Look at Nancy Pelosi, and I'm glad she wasn't in the House.
Well, it could have ended badly.
Right.
I mean, it did end badly.
If he hit her first, she's so tiny and frail. God only knows what would have happened. It would have been a tragedy.
I don't know. I almost think she's the tough one of the marriage. Like, she probably knows the greatest karate. All of a sudden, she's doing backflips, and I mean, be careful. I mean, you never know. It's the quiet ones you got to look out for.
I think I agree with Ann. I think Nancy is held together with super glue and
he
Botox.
blows. He just a little blow, and she just.
If she had been hit with a hammer, I think it would have split her down the middle.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to see a lot of Republicans go out. I think you're going to see a lot of minorities flip. People can't afford to pay attention anymore. It's getting scary. Now you have to worry about diesel fuel. I have people that used to get oil, and they pay for it in the summer to heat their house in the winter.
Yeah.
You can't even do that until just the last couple weeks.
Well, I do feel that, as we said earlier, that the abortion issue is going to be an issue. It is what is driving some people to get out and vote. But I think the two bigger issues are crime and the economy. And it's so traditionally this should be a red wave based on history. But I think that based on everything that's going on right now, it could be an explosion of red. You may be right, Ann. You may be very correct.
I think you're going to see a lot of people down in the city, and there's veterans and homeless people on the streets, and you have these wonderful tents that they're doing your laundry and folding it and washing it.
And they're living in a tent. I hate to cut you off, Ann, but we're coming up on the news break, but you may very well be right. It's going to be interesting, and that's what it would take, New York City people, to vote for Zeldin. We'll see what happens. WIBX, Utica, Rome. It is 7 o'clock.
Zip ties and duct tape. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The man accused of assaulting House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband had those in his bag when he was arrested, according to law enforcement sources.
Paul Pelosi is recovering from surgery for a skull fracture after being attacked with a hammer at his home last week. The assailant was reportedly looking for Speaker Pelosi. On ABC's This Week, Florida GOP Senator Rick Scott, who leads the Senate midterm reelection effort, said it may be time to revisit a question he asked last year.
I went to the Federal Election Commission and said, could our senators and House members, could they use their campaign dollars to pay for security for themselves and their family?
Senator Scott called the attack despicable, saying there needs to be more civility, even when we politically disagree. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
At their second and last debate of the campaign, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp again calls his Democratic Party opponent Stacey Abrams soft on crime.
I did not say, and nor do I believe in defunding the police. He is lying again.
Men and women in law enforcement know who is going to be with them, who has had their back and will continue to have their back, and that is me. And that's why we have the endorsement of 107 sheriffs around this state.
The debate on WSB TV. President Biden's asking Russia to reverse a decision to block ships from leaving Ukraine.
He warns the cutoff of urgently needed grain exports could increase world hunger. Moscow claims it suspended a UN-brokered deal to allow the safe passage of grain ships because Ukrainian drones attacked Russia's fleet on the Black Sea. Ukraine denies the attack, accusing Russia of waging hunger games.
Fox's Ashley Strohmeyer. At least 133 people are killed in the collapse of a suspension bridge in western India. The military is looking for people missing. The bridge is 143 years old and had just reopened 4 days before the collapse last night. Why it collapsed is under investigation. America's listening to Fox News.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is building its Do Good Village in Land O'Lakes, Florida. It's the first of its kind, a community of 110 homes for the Foundation's program recipients. So together, families can heal. So together, families can help one another. A special place where families know that their neighbors understand and care. Make the Do Good Village the first of many. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Federal Reserve recent announcements is putting the country on course for a deep recession. That means wild swings in the markets and high inflation will continue to put your retirement savings at risk. Protect the money you worked so hard to save for retirement by investing in gold. Let Bishop Gold Group show you how tangible gold investments can help secure your future. Dial pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
We have mostly clear skies, 35 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaske. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica. Well, we've been talking about it here this morning on the show. Early voting is underway in New York State. It will continue through this coming Sunday, November 6th. The general election will take place Tuesday, November 8th. A total of 6 early voting locations in Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison counties. You can find a list of those locations and early voting hours at WIBX950.com. As Ann in Rome mentioned, the early voting polling location in Rome is the South Rome Senior Center. State Attorney General Letitia James issuing guidance to police and local boards of elections on how they can prevent voter intimidation. The AG says some things to look out for include individuals or groups who gather outside of polling places and attempt to scare voters out of line, and individuals who make false statements claiming there are negative consequences to voting. James says it is against the law to interfere with a person's right to vote. The Election Protection Hotline in New York State can be reached at 866-390-2992. Central New York drivers noticing an increase at the pumps over the last week. According to AAA, the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel in Utica, Rome is up a dime to $3.85. The statewide average is $3.81. Nationally, it is $3.76. It's Halloween, and a lucky lottery player could end up with quite a treat if they win tonight's Powerball jackpot. No one won Saturday, which means whoever picks the winning numbers before this evening's drawing will win over $1 billion. There have been 37 drawings in a row since the last time someone won the Powerball grand prize. That was back in August. A ticket to play costs just $2. Today, the Supreme Court will take up a challenge to race-based college admissions. They'll hear arguments in two cases, one involving Harvard, the other, the University of North Carolina. The group called Students for Fair Admissions, looking for the court to throw out a 1978 case that gave the green light for universities to consider race in determining who will be admitted to their school. New York City settling lawsuits brought by two men exonerated last year for the 1965 killing of Malcolm X. The city will pay Muhammad Aziz and the family of Khalil Islam $26 million for the wrongful convictions, which led to both men spending decades behind bars. New York State will pay an additional $10 million to settle those lawsuits. And the attorney for InfoWars host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is arguing that his client should not have to pay any punitive damages. Attorney Norm Pattis has filed a motion that claims the $965 million in damages awarded to multiple families of Sandy Hook victims and an FBI agent is punishment enough. Attorneys for the plaintiffs believe Jones should face well over $2 trillion in punitive damages and attorney fees for repeatedly calling the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting a hoax and the parents paid actors. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast. Loving this one, aren't you, Bill?
It's unbelievable. We have, it looked like it was going to get cold, and here we go.
It's significantly warmer than we expect at this time of year. Of course, today, Halloween, and then we get into November tomorrow. Expect partly sunny skies for today, a high of 65 degrees, some great trick-or-treat weather. Know, though, that there is a chance of showers beginning after 8 p.m. tonight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies, a low of 52. Chance of showers for your Tuesday, mainly late morning, early afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies for your Tuesday, a high of 65 degrees. Mostly sunny skies Wednesday, 64 for the high. Mostly sunny skies Thursday, 69 for the high. Friday, mostly sunny skies, 68 for the high. That never gets old.
And the weekends, it looks like it's going to reach the 70s.
Right now, we have mostly clear skies, 35 degrees. WIBX news time is 7:07. Here's Keeler with sports.
Well, listen, last night, the Buffalo Bills, while it didn't look pretty, nor did the Green Bay Packers, the Bills pull off a big win, 27-17, and moved to 6-1 last night on Monday Night Football, or Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football is tonight. WIBX will have that game for you, and it is...
A lot of orange appropriately on the screen. Yeah. Bengals and Browns tonight.
Also, the Giants' win streak has been snapped after 4 games. New York fell 27-13 to the Seahawks. New York now tied with the Cowboys for second in the NFC East at 6-2. Utica Comets with a win and a loss this weekend. They're now 3-4 on the season, and they'll host Providence Wednesday night at the Adirondack Bank Center. And then over the weekend, Syracuse suffered a disappointing loss to Notre Dame on Saturday. The Orange are now 6-2. Dropped 6 spots to number 22 in the national rankings. Some high school football over the weekend. In Double-A, Proctor defeated Liverpool, advances to take the top seed CBA. They'll play on Friday night. Whitesboro in Class A, New Hartford Class A, both victorious. The Whitesboro Warriors will host West Genesee in the semifinal round Friday. The Spartans visit Fayetteville Manlius. In Class B, Camden and CVA both advance. Class C, the winner of Adirondack Holland Patton will advance the Class C Section 3 title game. In Class D, Little Falls, Mount Markham, and top seed Downsville, all advancing, still alive. And 8-man football, number 2 seed Frankfort will host Bishop Grimes on Friday night at Sequoia Valley High School. In girls field hockey, Holland Patton won its 5th straight Section 3 championship. And that is sports. Coming up, we have a bunch to get to. Later on this morning, we'll speak with Pete Sobel on the lawsuit against the Oneida County Republican Party, claiming that the constitutional caucus, if you will, of the Oneida County Republican Party was treated unfairly. That case was thrown out, and they were basically told, you missed deadlines, and furthermore, you lost in the overall vote, 76 to 24%. You didn't have a chance anyway. What's this lawsuit all about? It was thrown out. We'll speak with Pete Sobel coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. I want to talk about Shower for a Soldier, and that is a new shower and bath setup from New York Sash for a veteran. And they can add all sorts of safety provisions in there. In some cases, these veterans are living with some very bad conditions. It's the final day to nominate someone. And then later on in the hour, we have a bunch to get to, including Hobica's free money question of the day. Chance for you to win $106.90 from the Hobica Law Firm and WIBX.
New York, you deserve more. And with United Healthcare, you'll get more. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. So call United Healthcare today. With the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan, you get more from your Medicare dollar, now including better than ever dental, vision, over-the-counter, and prescription drug coverage. Call United Healthcare at 1-855-295-6277 today and speak with a licensed sales agent. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Mark Rose's experience is unique. City Court Judge in Little Falls for the last 14 years. Visiting judge for Utica. As a 30-year practicing attorney, Mark Rose has argued cases at all levels up to the Court of Appeals. He's served as a municipal attorney in towns and villages across New York's 5th Judicial District. And now Mark Rose is running for state Supreme Court to serve all of us. Experience, integrity. Mark Rose for state Supreme Court.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Rose for state Supreme Court.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Two very different people are running to become the next Oneida County clerk. One has made wild, false claims in her commercials, picked fights with the county executive, the county legislature, and others. She denigrates anyone who disagrees and clearly believes that her law degree has given her superpowers and the know-how to do everybody else's job. On the other side, there's Mary Finnegan, a level-headed, common-sense leader who served as clerk in the town of Whitestown for the last 17 years. She wrote and won a grant that modernized the office, made customer service a priority, and now wants to do the same for Oneida County. She will keep the Rome DMV open, and she'll work to improve the experience at all DMV locations. All this while protecting the public's private information. The fact is, there's no one better suited for this job. This election, please vote for experience. Vote Mary Finnegan, Oneida County Clerk. Paid for by Friends of Mary Finnegan.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
WIBX 950 and 1069 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 7:14, and Katie Riley is on right now with New York Sash. And they're doing a program once again this year for veterans. And you know they do the bath makeover. They'll come in and completely redo your bathroom in about a day and a half. It's incredible what they're able to do. But they're offering this to a veteran, and all you have to do is nominate. Katie's on the line right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
So this is the last, 24 hours for people to get a nomination in?
Yes. So up until tomorrow, end of the day tomorrow, we'll be accepting nominations. And right on our website, newyorksash.com, it's a really simple form. We just ask a couple questions, and we just want to help someone in the area, a local veteran who, in one small way that we can, which is to make their bathroom a little bit safer, a little bit easier to navigate around.
It's a big deal, right? I mean, especially the safety aspect. There are all different opportunities and options for people.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
safety.
And, we see this all the time. We serve an aging population. One of our biggest projects is converting, an old, outdated tub into a extra wide shower. And, for someone who is maybe struggling a little bit, it could really make a big difference. We've done this 2 years so far. This is our third year. Both recipients so far were Vietnam veterans. They had similar struggles with just not being able to move, mobility, and it can really make a big difference just to take that one small thing off their plate of giving them an easier way to get into the shower. We're happy to help.
Okay, so again, they go to your website, newyorksash.com. And on there'll be an icon for the bath for a veteran.
Shower for a soldier. It's right on our homepage.
Okay.
Nice big link. They can click that, and it's a small form. We just want to know who's nominating. We want to know about the veteran, where they live, and the most important thing we're asking for is why do they deserve it? I mean, every veteran deserves it for serving our country, but there's definitely some that are struggling a little more.
Yep.
And so we just want a little bit of a story on why you're nominating this veteran. And then around Veterans Day, we'll announce our winner, and then the process begins. So, and it's all free of charge. Everything's donated, from the product to our installation to design help, completely free of charge. Like you said, in just a couple of days, we'll get them a whole new bathroom. So, we're grateful to be able to do this for the veteran community, and now we just need to know who's worthy. So we just need some extra nominations.
So I do have to say, I know it's a completely different topic, but yesterday was a beautiful day. Bills weren't playing till last night, and it meant I had a big list of things to do. But indoors, my wife was easily cleaning our windows. And
I'm so happy to hear that.
And I got to tell you that, the tilt-in thing, they tilt in easily. They go right back in place. The best part of all, Katie, is I just sat and watched. I didn't have to do a thing. I did nothing. I did nothing. Yeah.
Our guys are great. They're really pros at what they do, and we you trust them with your home. We trust them to install expertly and, take care of everything. And that's for all the products that we install: windows, siding, baths.
New York Sash.
Yes.
New York Sash.
So go to the website, newyorksash.com, and nominate a veteran. You'll see it right there on the front page. And you have until tomorrow, close of business, to get it done. And, Katie, thank you so much.
Great.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Have a good
thanks.
day. Bye.
Shower for a Soldier is the name of the campaign. And just click on it and make your nomination there. And she said every veteran deserves, but there are some that are worse off than others. And for those people, you really would like to take care of them. Veterans Day is just around the corner. How about how'd you like to beat? It's coming tonight. Where are we now? It's over $1 billion now, right?
The Powerball? Yeah.
Powerball is over $1 billion. I'm going to tell you where it is right now. I can check
Didn't
the
they
current.
say it was 801 for the last drawing? It's got to be.
I'm
1.1.
I'm still showing $1 billion.
Okay. It'll be. I think they're saying it's at least $1 billion. What I read, because it goes up at least like 200 million every time, right?
Yeah.
So
Do you want to play? You want to buy one right now? Davey, we'll take the first caller. Will join in on a ticket. We're going to win the $1 billion tonight. First caller comes through 315-736-0186. Let's do a ticket. So pick your own numbers. I'm able to do this right here on the fly. And Manaski, pick a number between 1 and 63.
3.
Number 3. Davey, pick a number between 1 and 63.
34.
34. All right, I need a caller, 315-736-0186. We'll let you join in for free. Did anybody remember what Christine picked the other day?
It was because I was doing the 27 number, right? Because that's my birthday, the 27th.
Yeah.
She did like maybe 28 or 26 or 29 because we had 3 or 4 in a row there.
I think it was 26.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do that for her. I'll pick, I don't know. I'm just going to grab one. And then one more, I'm going to ask you. Oh, no, I got a caller to do.
Yeah.
Hi, who's this? Dave?
Dave.
Dave, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Good morning.
So we picked 3, 26, 34, 38. I'm going to let you pick the number and the Powerball. So I need a number between 1 and 69.
No. Powerball is 1 and 26.
I know that, but this isn't the Powerball.
I'm
yet.
sorry.
1 and 69.
22.
22, okay. 22. And then, as Jeff said, between 1 and 26 for the Powerball, what do you pick?
14.
14. All right, so there are our numbers. 3, 22, 26, 34, 38, and 14. If we win the $1 billion, believe it or not, you're in the mix.
If you can find us.
In the morning, take it to Albany.
All right, cool. Stand by. Davey's got to get all your information. This is we have barely any rules for this contest, and it's the one contest that can give away the largest prize ever given in radio.
I know.
Right? It's like, oh, yeah, Dave. There's a guy named Dave out there. How do you know it's Dave? I can tell his voice. Get all of his details just in case, Davey.
Where does he live? Somewhere in the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah, he's out there somewhere in Utica, I think. I'm pretty sure. But, I mean, could you imagine? It's $1 billion. Oh, I haven't bought the ticket yet.
Oh, well, don't forget that.
That would be awful, right?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm even going to add the power play for an extra $1, and bada bing.
So what's that, $3?
Total of $3.
Okay.
And order successful. It's done. Right now, I'm still showing it as just $1 billion. Just $1 billion.
Yeah, a mere bag of shells.
People buy into this. They buy tickets when the jackpot is really high, as if there's some advantage to buying when the jackpot is really high. Your chances of winning are exactly the same as if it was just $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, with more people playing, there's probably more of a chance that you could share the winning number with someone.
There have been lawsuits and major controversies over this where you have like an office pool, and who didn't kick in their $2 last Monday?
You're right.
And who's only been here for 6 months, and the rest of us have been here for 4 years, so you don't deserve it. I mean, this stuff goes really sideways.
So how are we doing this? If we were to win, are we adding Christine in? So now I think we should at this point. She picked one of the numbers. So it would be the four of us plus Dave from Utica. I don't know that I want to split 5 ways. Oh, my God.
So $1 billion, that's $200 million each.
Yeah, jeez.
I guess so.
I guess we'll have to.
No,
All right.
I absolutely, we're including Christine on this. Can I do one more lottery thing?
Yeah.
I mentioned this last week. I'm sorry. I know you're going somewhere. I don't know what the odds are. If there's a mathematician out there who knows the answer to this, or if you play lottery a lot and you've seen this multiple times, I'd like to know. This was October 27th. I'm still dumbfounded by this, and Wayne pointed it out to me, and it's absolutely true. Is this Win 4?
This is
No,
a Win
Take
4.
Five.
Take five. There's an afternoon drawing and a night drawing, right?
Every single day, an afternoon drawing and a night drawing. 5 different numbers. The midday drawing on October 27th and the evening drawing on October 27th of Take 5 were identical. 18, 21, 30, 35, 36. I just can't imagine.
And the draw was the exact same numbers later in the day?
It was the I don't know if it was in the same order, but when they post them right in that order. 18, 21, 30, 35, 60. The exact same numbers for the October 27th midday.
Can you imagine the odds against that happening?
Well, imagine one and not you hit one and you go, oh, I don't know how much you paid, but whatever, you're happy, and then you don't play the evening numbers, and you find out later it hit the exact same.
Crazy.
I tell you, my grandmother used to play Take 4 all the time, and she was born in 1929. She used to play 1929 all the time, and I don't think she ever won, but one year in the course of like 12 weeks, she won 3 times.
It is weird how that happens, right?
And then I don't think she ever won again.
Or the guy who wins, he wins $10 million in the lottery, and then 6 months later he wins another $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just craziness. And what is it like once you win all the money and you have all the money in the world? There's nothing that you could ever, at this point, if you're winning $1 billion, you should be just fine. You should be able to get whatever you want for the rest of your life. And unlike these $1 million winners, he won $2 million and he's just bought a $2.5 million house. Oh, that's awesome. And by the way, he has no expertise in anything. He is unemployed and most likely will remain that way. How's he going to pay for that house?
Yeah.
And they lose it all within a year. It's like your taxes are due. Well, I guess I better play the lottery again. I mean, if you get $1 billion, you're in pretty good shape.
Yes, you've gotten all you can ask for.
Although, as my wife says, I'm sure you could blow it. But listen to this. So you get all the money, you have all the money in the world. You've grown up all wealthy. You are wealthy. You have never been told, can't have this because we don't have the money. A German heir is saying that she is now annoyed that with the death of her grandparents, she is now inheriting billions of dollars. She says she wants nearly all of this money taken away through taxes. Her name is Marlene Engelhorn. She pleaded her case to tax rich people at 90% because she believes it would be much more fair that way. Here's what she's saying.
I was born into a rich family and will one day inherit a fortune for which I never had to work. Millionaires should not get to decide whether or not they contribute in a just way to the societies they live in and without which they would never have become millionaires. Social justice is in everyone's best interest. Wealth taxes are the least we can do to take responsibility. Tax us.
The thing is here, for her, I wonder if she was less wealthy, if she would have a different opinion. Like right now, she has enough wealth, even before inheriting the billions, she has enough wealth to get whatever she wants, whenever she wants it, never is told no. I wonder if she was just kind of wealthy. And, I love that, but I can't afford it. I wonder if she'd have a different opinion. Because those people, according to her, should be taxed 90%.
Well, so I always struggle with this because I've heard this a lot in this country where people will say, I think there should be a higher tax on millionaires or billionaires or 100,000
because of you think about what some of those, the most elite of wealthy people have done is they say, I'm giving 90% of my wealth away to charities. Because you reach a certain point where you're so wealthy there's just so much money.
Yeah.
There's no reason to. You're not going to ever be able to spend it. But not everybody's going to have that wealth.
So, but there are people who say, I'm part of the 1%. I say, raise my taxes.
Yeah.
I don't understand why those people, like this woman, in this case, I know it's a different country, are they prohibited from writing the IRS a larger check? If they say you owe $400,000 in taxes, can't they say, well, I do quite a bit of philanthropic work, and
Right.
I'm going to double the tax bill. Like, I don't understand why where they say everyone else in my tax bracket should pay more. If you feel that you should pay more, you should be allowed to pay more.
You could be Bill Gates.
Just pay more.
And what Bill Gates has done, and there are others that have done really the same thing, where they just pay more. But I don't think Bill Gates is out there saying everyone should do what I'm doing. It would be nice if everyone took this pledge and did what I'm doing, but it shouldn't be required of them, right?
Right. I mean, you've seen this, right? Rich people will say, well, I think people who make X amount of dollars, and I'm one of them, I think you should raise my tax. Raise your own taxes.
And that's what this woman is saying. It's that the taxes should be at 90% for people who are really, really wealthy. What else? This was kind of an interesting deal. A California man dressed as a bottle of Fireball whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that Fireball whiskey has a bit of a cinnamon flavor to it.
And a lot of sugar. I get instant heartburn from that stuff.
California man dressed as a bottle of Fireball whiskey for Halloween was arrested over the weekend. Why? What did he do? Of course, drunken disorderly conduct, domestic battery, and several other charges. Dominic Salazar even got to wear his Halloween costume while getting his picture taken by jail personnel. And it's kind of apropos, I guess.
I think one of the prison guards there was arrested for smuggling contraband into the facility when they saw
Fireball
that outfit.
whiskey. Yeah. Got a break. Coming up, we'll do Habaika's free money question of the day. Chance for you to win $100, $106.90 to be exact. And some other stuff we'll be giving away as consolation as well. Coming up at 7:31 at WIBX.
Market declines, unemployment, the COVID-19 pandemic. Today's headlines can be scary. Edward Jones financial advisor Kyle Velt can help. He'll work with you to help you understand the impact of short-term events and how to prepare for the long term. Edward Jones provides the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Don't let headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. Call 315-361-4727 or find Kyle on his Facebook, LinkedIn, or edwardjones.com website. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Julie Grow Denton, longtime practicing attorney and law clerk in federal, state supreme, and county surrogate court. Julie Grow Denton, high school valedictorian, honors graduate from Bucknell and Harvard Law. Julie Grow Denton, candidate for state Supreme Court.
I'm Julie Grow Denton. Every community deserves to have judges in whom you take great pride. From an early age, my parents instilled a love of family and a strong work ethic. Born and raised near my dad's family in Rome, vacations and holidays with my mom's family in the North Country. My career has brought me to courtrooms and law offices across our region, all while raising 2 children with my husband, driving them throughout Central New York for scholastics and sports. I know our communities. I value the importance of treating others with respect. I love the law, and I will make you proud. I ask for your vote.
Elect Julie Grow Denton to state Supreme Court. Paid for by the committee to elect Julie Grow Denton for Supreme Court.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Hey, Mazda continues to win awards for performance, safety, and reliability with an increasingly loyal following of drivers, all enjoying Mazda's incredible engineering. I am one of them. Love my CX-9. Mazda's premium design, fit, and finish and paint process is extraordinary, while Mazda's premium interior redefines luxury. Ricky Z says it. Let's make your deal on a Mazda and see why it's always easy to do business with family-owned and operated Steep Pawnee Mazda. And Rick does some great things in the community as well. He gives keyboards and pianos to school districts that are in need for their students. And he raises that money at a Billy Joel tribute show that just so happens to be this Friday night. We'll give away some tickets to that coming up later on this morning. It's Friday night at the Stanley Theater. Let's make your deal on a Mazda, says Ricky Z. See why it's always easy to do business with a family-owned and operated Steep Pawnee Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
Good morning. Dealing with mostly clear skies, 35 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:34. This news update brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. The Republican National Committee chair says it's unfair to blame GOP rhetoric for the attack on Paul Pelosi. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband suffered a fractured skull after being attacked in their home on Friday. Appearing on Fox News Sunday, RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel pushed back against the implications, describing the suspect in the assault as a deranged individual. She also denied the GOP statements like, "Let's take back the House," call for violence. McDaniel noted that politicians on both sides of the aisle have faced increasing violence and threats in recent years. The Supreme Court today will take up a challenge to race-based college admissions. They'll hear arguments in two cases, one involving Harvard, the other the University of North Carolina. The group called Students for Fair Admissions is looking for the court to throw out a 1978 case that gave the green light for universities to consider race in determining who would be admitted to the school. Opening statements will come today in the criminal trial of former President Trump's namesake family real estate business. The Trump Organization faces criminal tax fraud charges in New York. They're related to allegations that the company orchestrated a 15-year scheme to help certain executives evade taxes. Trump is not charged in the case and is not expected to testify. New York City settling lawsuits brought by two men exonerated last year for the 1965 killing of Malcolm X. The city will pay Muhammad Aziz and the family of Khalil Islam $26 million for the wrongful convictions, which led to both men spending decades behind bars. Also, New York State will pay an additional $10 million. And witches are casting a spell on Google's list of the most popular Halloween costumes this year. With Halloween upon us, Google Trends is out with its 2022 Frightgeist list that takes a look at the most popular costumes and searched costumes in the U.S. this year. For the second straight year, Witch takes the top spot, rounding out 2 through 5 Spider-Man, Dinosaur, Stranger Things costumes, and a fairy was number 5. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast. Enjoy this weather as long as it lasts. We will have partly sunny skies today, a high reaching 65 degrees. For those trick-or-treaters, if you're out and about this evening, we do have a slight chance of showers between 8 p.m. and basically 2 or 3 a.m. So if you're going to do some trick-or-treating, try to do it before 8. It'll be dark by then anyway, so you want to be home. Mostly cloudy skies, otherwise a low of 52. Tuesday, chance of rain showers, mainly late morning, early afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies with a high in the mid-60s. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 64. Thursday, mostly sunny, 69. Friday, mostly sunny,
Crazy.
68 degrees. Enjoy it. Right now, we have mostly clear skies, and we're at 36 right now.
I finally reopened the pool yesterday. This is enough. It's enough for me. It's enough for me. This is beautiful. How about next weekend? Next weekend, and I know the forecast is probably going to change by the time we get there, but they're calling for temperatures, I don't know, 73 degrees, both Saturday and Sunday next weekend. It's crazy.
I love it.
Big controversy over in New Hartford. A lot of people upset with the closing of the pool at Perry Junior High. Perry, is it junior high? Perry Middle School? Junior high? Either way, the closing of the pool has been a big topic. We're going to speak with Kaz Tangora, the superintendent of schools at New Hartford, on that coming up. First, though, let's do our free money question of the day. It's a chance for you to win $106.90 from the Hobica Law Firm. Great question today. Okay, let's do caller number 3 right now. 315-736-0186. Caller 3 right now to win from WIBX.
Hi, this is John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started. Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
The Assembly Chamber in the state capitol is called the People's House. For most, that's just a catchy political phrase. But for Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshawn, it's a promise. Marianne Buttonshawn brings the people's ideas, your ideas, to Albany and turns them into law. A constituent from Rome inspired a new law reducing the theft of catalytic converters. A stricken Utica family inspired Bianca's law, prohibiting the exploitation of hurtful, graphic, violent images on the internet. Revere Copper, new antimicrobial copper, would decrease the spread of COVID-19. So Marianne introduced a bill requiring copper fixtures in all taxpayer-funded projects. Like you, Marianne Buttonshawn shows up for work. She's never missed a session roll call or committee meeting. Like you, Marianne listens. Her office answers 5,000 phone calls and emails a year. Marianne Buttonshawn brings your values and your voice to the State Assembly. That's why the Friends of Marianne Buttonshawn paid for this message.
First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Boy, slow intro.
Well, it's Halloween, right? Before you know it, they're going to be knocking on your door and ringing the doorbell, looking for their candy.
And then starting tomorrow, Christmas displays.
You're right. Oh, it's and those Christmas displays have been up, believe it or not, since August. I think it was the first Christmas display I saw. Crazy. All right, let's do our free money question of the day. Chance for you to win Hobica's money. Joseph and Andrew Hobica at 315-724-1600. And on the line right now is Jerry in Herkimer. Hello, Jerry. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready to go here, Jerry?
I'm ready.
I know you're going to do this. I know you're going to nail this. You're going to nail this. You're going to nail it hard. All right, here we go, Jerry. For $106.90, here we go. Sun Records' $1 Million Quartet was Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, Johnny Cash, and this rocker. Ready, go. Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, Johnny Cash, and?
I have no idea. Could be even guess.
Anybody on? And I only thought that you'd be able to nail that down because it's since Jerry Lee Lewis just died, everybody's talking about the $1 Million Quartet. And those were the first 4 to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as a matter of fact. Blue Suede Shoes, the one and only Carl Perkins. So all on Sun Records, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, Johnny Cash, and Carl Perkins. All right, here's another question for you. When Jerry Lee Lewis got into trouble, he was on a tour in Britain, and it was discovered that he had married his cousin. How old? Yes. How old was his cousin?
She was young. She was 16.
She was 13.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Great balls of fire. Okay, Jerry, stand by. We're going to give you from 72 Tavern and Grill at the Adirondack Bank Center a $25 gift card. You'll love the 72 Tavern and Grill. And Fat Cats Comedy Club, with shows every Friday and Saturday night. We have a table for 6. Use what you want, up to 6. Davey's going to hook you up and pick any show you'd like. Stand by, Jerry. Davey's going to take care of you. All right?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Jerry, have a great day. A whole lot of shaking going on down there in Herkimer. Hold on a second. 13 years old. And she actually has been giving some interviews. She's still alive today. She was with him until like 1970 when drugs and alcohol got the best of him. She left him as she was actually at 13. He was traveling overseas on the road. She was maintaining the household. She was paying the mortgage. She was getting the groceries. And by the time she was 14, taking care of the baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So when he
What a
passed
world.
from drugs and alcohol, did she find an uncle or something?
He
that
didn't
she
pass from drugs and alcohol, but she divorced him.
Gotcha.
At that time.
Gotcha.
Adultery and all the other stuff. Okay, crazy world that we live in, isn't it? Kaz Tangora is the superintendent of schools at New Hartford, and he's on the line right now. Kaz, good morning.
Good morning.
So can we talk about the pool? I know that's been a big topic. It's been something at board meetings that keeps being brought up. The pool, it seems it was used not only by members of the school district, but community members used it as well. But the closure has been a big topic. So why did it need to be closed? And just give us your thoughts here.
Yeah. So first of all, it's important that everyone knows that it's not going to be closed.
Okay.
Right? That my recommendation was that we close it.
Right.
And at the end of the day, this was an exercise in really good government. Right? So when I came to the district in October of 21, the capital project was set to be voted upon just a few weeks later. So I hadn't been there, I don't believe, not even 8 weeks into the vote. So things are all the way down the road. So we're looking at the pool and our need for space and instructional space. And the pool, which does not get used during the school day at all, I suggested that we might want to consider closing this pool to capitalize on the space. We could do some reconfiguration of the district. The district's not growing in enrollment, so we can't get aided on additions, only renovations. So we would get aided to, close the pool and renovate that space. But if we needed to add additional space to provide the additional instructional room we had, that would be a cost of the taxpayers.
Right.
And I made the recommendation. It was debated over a number of weeks, and we heard from everyone, people who wanted to weigh in, got to weigh in. And at the end of the day, although the board found merit in the recommendation, for very good reasons, they felt it was not in the district's best interest to move forward at this time.
So I guess I missed missed the part where they made that decision. I certainly saw all of the letters and the emails that were going around, and certainly the presentations that were given at the Board of Education meeting. So I guess when you talk about this, it's true. The public can have a say in their school district.
Can and should, and always have.
Right.
So I just thought it was a good demonstration. So I made a recommendation that I knew was going to be unpopular, but I did think and still believe that it would be in the best interest of the academic program and the taxpayers. The board, right? I'm the recommendation maker. The board are the decision makers. They have the authority. So my job is to give them all the information I think they need to make a decision that they feel is in the best interest of the community. People came in for weeks, months, right? We had healthy debate. It was always respectful. I mean, New Hartford Central School District should hold its head up high because it's done things that many forms of government can't do.
Certainly right. Certainly not.
Civil disagreement.
Not doing right now in society. I do think that it is. If you can just explain, because I'm not sure that we all understand the way the funding works. So, for instance, you're saying because of enrollment, while you may need additional space, you can't you can't build a new building, although you can renovate. Talk about the restrictions there and why the pool was a good idea initially.
Right. So I'll do the best that I can. All right. So, because in the district, like New Hartford, whose enrollment right now is steady and in some models declining a bit, you can't demonstrate the need for extra space, right, to the state. So they won't aid that extra space because there's no need for it on paper. Having said that, there is need for space inside the Perry Junior High because it hasn't been renovated in so long. And as instructional practices change, we want to move towards a more future-focused model of instruction, more group work, real-world, problem-based education. We need different spaces. The special education space in the Perry Junior High we could use more of it. The where the cafeteria is on the other side of the school from where the gym is, and in the middle is all this instructional space. So when students have to during lunch, they're on one side of the building, they eat their lunch, then they walk to the other side. In the meantime, for a variety of reasons, during the day, the pool doesn't get used. Even when it was being used for physical education purposes, there was only a 6-week period during the school year in recent history that it was being used. So my recommendation was, given the fact, and it's a valuable space for the community. I want to be clear. I understand how valuable it is and how meaningful it is. But we need the space during the day for the kids in the instructional program. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this recommendation. It's not going to get me the love letters, but it's the right decision, right recommendation to make at this point. So I just demonstrated. Here's the space that's not being used during the day. Here's how we could use it differently, maximize the space that we have for instructional purposes, and then move forward. So that was the rationale behind the decision.
And I do think it's interesting to see how the state aid comes into play when schools are adding things or adding an addition or building a new building. All of that has to be sold to state ed on paper, and I think that's it just doesn't happen on its own.
Growing enrollment, right? We could go there and say, hey, listen, our enrollment's increased X number over the years, the projections, and they'll say, well, yeah, you make a good point. You're going to need extra space. We'll aid you on the aidable portions of those additions, right? But because we're find ourselves in the enrollment position we're in now, that would be borne by the taxpayers.
Okay,
and it's can't afford it. Right?
So the board opted not to take that recommendation. They're going to keep.
No, I opted not to move forward with.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought the board had voted.
So
okay.
Listen, we had a number of meetings. I heard what folks had to say. At the end of the day, after the board meeting on Tuesday, it was clear to me that if I did make this recommendation, it wasn't going to get supported. So why bother? Let's okay. This is what we're going to do now. This is the direction. I made a recommendation. The board made a decision. I support and respect that decision, and now I'll move forward and make it happen.
So
by the way, that's another part of government that we don't see today.
Correct.
You're admitting you didn't have the votes, so you didn't move forward. We would find a way in politics to be, well, I've decided that I didn't want to move forward on this for these reasons. You're better off just coming out and being honest. I didn't have the support. And
yeah, I mean, and why be it's already decisive, right? People are already upset about it. Why drag it out? It's over. Now I'm on to the next, right? The next
Yeah, so
initiative.
The next potentially unpopular decision. You just don't know. I'm going to bring up one of them in a second.
As you look for a space now, because you do need some more space, where do you go from here? What's the next option as you go forward?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to sit down with the architects and have there's already a plan B and C to make the space better than it is now. And that will happen, right? So at the end of the project, we will make improvements to all the instructional space. Just some interior moves. I'm oversimplifying it for a lot of reasons, but we'll be able to make the improvements, not to the extent that we would have otherwise, but we'll still be able to move forward and make significant improvements to the Perry Junior High.
Are you considering the option of the potential, I don't know, what is it? Is it 7th, 8th, 9th now at the junior high, right?
Right now, it's 7th, 8th, 9th.
Okay. So is there the opportunity to look at, well, maybe the decision will be going forward, maybe 9th shouldn't be at the junior high. Maybe it should be at the high school. Maybe this school needs more students with a lower population. Though this school is overcrowded because you have a handful of elementary schools. How is that a way to handle it going forward?
Potentially. I mean, that would I wouldn't be in a position to make that recommendation until after literally, months and months, if not years of study.
Yep.
Right? We'd have to. Now, a study was done a few years back. We would dust that off. Bring in some other folks to take a look at, what the possible reconfiguration would be. But first we'd have to do the study, then we'd have to go. I mean, it's years down the road.
Okay.
If at all.
And then finally, what I thought was going to be controversial that hasn't, just because I think parents, we are all in the community, people are nervous about safety this day and age. But this year, I believe the change in Halloween is there's no more outdoor parade. Parents aren't able to come, stand outside as the kids march around in their costumes. Can you talk about that decision?
Yeah, so that was a strong recommendation from our safety committee and our school administrators as well. So it's, law enforcement for years across the country have been, encouraging school districts not to participate in that type of activity. And again, right, not a wildly popular decision. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, safety is inconvenient, right? And as a society and as the school districts become more focused on what we need to do with schools to make them more safe, while at the same time balancing, right, the unique community desires to be involved with school, we're going to have to work really hard to strike that balance. So, and there'll have to be give and take on both sides, because what community A will tolerate is very different than what community B will tolerate. However, the realities of the world we live in, I mean, there are some non-negotiables regardless of what community you live in. And I think as time goes on, we're going to have to really struggle with those, given the fact that forever, right, New Hartford's been the center. The school districts, the schools have been the center of the community. And when you harden those entrances, I mean, this sounds kind of corny, but you harden the hearts of the folks that want to be part of it. And you have to find a way to soften that blow.
It's a scary world we live in today, unfortunately. But these are things we have to address. Finally, somebody's saying, would there possibly be a way to convert the pool area where, I don't know, I guess I may have seen this, where there's a floor that comes across the pool area, and while it's not in use, it could be used for classroom space. Is that something that would be an option going forward? Does it even exist?
Not that I know of, but there's an old adage, Bill. With enough time and money, you can do anything.
Yes, that's right. I do recall there was a movie there where all the kids were falling in the pool, the floor was opening, and I don't know, it might have been one of those.
If you can have a retractable roof on a sports stadium, you can have a sliding floor over a pool.
I imagine, you're right, with enough money.
Yeah, I think the funding sources are a little different.
Might be. Okay, Kaz Tangora, Superintendent, New Hartford, thank you so much for the time.
You well.
All right, you do the same. And we'll break. It's 7:57 at WIBX.
I'm Marima Smagic-Oren, and I'm running for Oneida County Clerk. I forced the Oneida County political establishment to reopen the Rome DMV. If I can cause this kind of change as a candidate, think of what I can do as county clerk. The Rome DMV is reopening because I held Tony Picenti's feet to the fire by going to the Oneida County Legislature 3 times. Now, he's afraid my opponent is going to lose because she did not. Picenti tried to close the Rome DMV in 2012 and has been choking it ever since. A leopard never changes its spots. The truth is that, after the election, Picenti will try to close the Rome DMV again. I won't let that happen. I won't stop fighting for Rome. If Mary Finnegan is elected, she will be Picenti's puppet. Unlike Mary Finnegan and the rest of the Oneida County establishment, I put people over politics. That's why the Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren paid for this message.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief watching the world lose its mind. As we all know, global problems have local consequences, too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today's the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits are in stock and ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats standing in government food lines. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
I'm William Attar. Big truck crashes often result in serious injuries or death. After a big truck crash, call William Attar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. After a serious truck crash, call us right away so our immediate response team can preserve evidence while you focus on your family. Truck crash? Call William Attar, 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse.
WIBX 950 Utica, Rome. W295DI Utica, Rome.
8 days left to campaign. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The midterm elections are a week from tomorrow. Now, even before the ballots are counted, some Americans and a few of the candidates are expressing doubts about whether the results will be legitimate. The members of Congress leading their party's House election efforts say not to worry.
Minnesota Republican Tom Emmer says he expects 2022 to be a different year at the polling places because COVID was a factor 2 years ago.
They were adjusting election laws on the fly. I think a lot of that has been resolved.
His counterpart, New York Democrat Sean Patrick Maloney, says he also foresees competitive races next week.
And in a close election, you might have a recount, you might have other examination of absentee ballots. That's all run-of-the-mill stuff.
Both men on CBS Face the Nation. They agree there is no place for violence against candidates or their families in any election. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visited her husband Paul in the hospital. He's recovering from a hammer attack at their home in San Francisco Friday. The new majority owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, posted then deleted a conspiracy theory based on someone's opinion that the attacker was a male prostitute. San Francisco police in response say no, it was a break-in. 2 Americans are reported to be among more than 150 people killed in the Halloween celebration crowd crush in Seoul, South Korea Saturday. Stephen Blessey from Georgia was a Kennesaw State University junior. The other was a nursing student at the University of Kentucky.
The school posted on social media saying the community is grieving the tragic loss of student Anne Gieske, who was studying abroad in Seoul. Her family says they are completely devastated and heartbroken, and Anne was a bright light loved by all.
WDRB Fox Louisville's Christy Batista. Brazil's left-wing former president Lula is elected president again, beating right-wing incumbent Jair Bolsonaro. He has not conceded. Lula was Brazil's president from 2003 to 2010. America's listening to Fox News.
The Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute provides educators access to nonfiction 9/11 resources for K-12, first-person curriculum with video, Discovering Heroes book series for kids, and a speakers bureau with access to 9/11 first responders, survivors, and loved ones. A high-tech 83-foot tractor-trailer that transforms into an interactive museum with artifacts, and Russell F. Siller Memorial Scholarships for exemplary high school students of program recipients preparing for college. Never forget, donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold, or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
Well, clear skies, a little bit of sunshine, 36 degrees, looking at a high of 65 today. A closer look at your forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Early voting got underway in New York State this weekend, and it will continue through this weekend into the weekend. The general election will take place a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, November 8th. There are 6 early voting locations in total in Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison counties. 4 in Oneida, 1 each in Herkimer and Madison. You can find a list of early voting hours and locations. If you're looking to cast your ballot early, just head to WIBX950.com. The CDC says recent testing shows the polio virus continues to spread in downstate regions of New York. Officials say 8% of wastewater samples tested in 13 counties and New York City came back positive for polio in recent months. The testing was triggered by a case of paralytic polio discovered in an unvaccinated Rockland County resident over the summer. Central New York drivers noticing an increase at the pumps due to a spike in gas prices over the past week. AAA says the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel in Utica, Rome is $3.85. That's up a dime over the last week. The state average is $3.81. Nationally, it is $3.76. Officials have released the name of a young boy who was tragically killed in a house fire in Syracuse. The young victim identified as 5-year-old Elite Simmons. He was found inside of a burning home on Douglas Street in Syracuse late last week, taken to Upstate University Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say no one else was in the home at the time of the fire. The cause is still being investigated. It is Halloween, and one or more lucky lottery players might end up with quite a treat if they win tonight's Powerball jackpot. No one won Saturday, and that means whoever picks the winning numbers before this evening's drawing will win $1 billion or more. There have been 37 drawings in a row since the last time someone won the Powerball grand prize, which was in August. A ticket to play costs $2. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for this unseasonably warmer than expected weather to continue. We'll have mostly sunny skies, partly sunny skies, I should say, for your afternoon today, a high of 65 degrees. Tonight, chance of showers beginning around 8 p.m., so if you're trick-or-treating, you want to get it done before that. We do have a chance of showers between 8 p.m. and the overnight hours, otherwise mostly cloudy with a low of 52, chance of rain 30%. Rain showers in the forecast Tuesday, late morning and early afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies with a high of 65. Mostly sunny Wednesday, a high of 64. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 69. And that warm-up continues as we head into the weekend. We could see highs in the low 70s. Right now, we have mostly clear skies, a few clouds. 36 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:06. Here's Keeler with sports.
Well, last night in Sunday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills powered past the Green Bay Packers 27-17. And while it was a sloppy second half, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks for Josh Allen, as the Bills improved to 6-1. Davey, your take on last night's game?
It was I give him about a B.
A B, okay.
But sloppy turnovers in the second half, like you said.
And I got to say, Aaron Rodgers just was running for his life at times last night. Over the weekend, Syracuse with a rough performance, losing to Notre Dame. The final was, what did the final end up being?
44-21.
Because I was at that game and left when it was within reach. Oh, boy. The Giants' win streak has been snapped after 4 games. New York fell 27-13 to the Seahawks in Seattle. New York now tied with the Cowboys for second in the NFC East at 6-2. The Giants are off this coming week in a bye this week, but they'll return the following week on November 13th against the Houston Texans on Sunday. Bill Belichick is now all by himself in second place on all-time wins with his 325th career victory. The Patriots came from behind to beat the Jets 22-17 in East Rutherford. And what else? The Comets had a 1-1 over the weekend. They won one, and then on Saturday they ended up losing. They are now 3-4 on the season and are back home at the Adirondack Bank Center on Wednesday night to host the Providence Bruins. In high school football over the weekend, Proctor defeated Liverpool in Double-A with an advance to take on the top seed CBA on Friday night. In Class A, Whitesboro and New Hartford, both victorious. The Whitesboro Warriors host West Genesee in the semifinal round Friday. The Spartans visit Fayetteville Manlius. Class B, Camden and CVA both advancing. In C, the winner of the Adirondack Holland Patton game will advance to the Class C Section 3 title game. Little Falls, Class D, Mount Markham, that's Little Falls, Mount Markham, and top seed Downsville in Class D, all advancing. And 8-man football, number 2 seed Frankfort Schuyler hosting Bishop Grimes on Friday night at Sequoia Valley. Girls field hockey, Holland Patton won its 5th straight Section 3 championship. And that's sports. Coming up, we'll talk to Pete Sobel in a few minutes on that lawsuit in Oneida County. It was against the Oneida County Republican Party and the chairman, Pete Sobel, and it has been thrown out, the lawsuit, without merit. So it was thrown out by the judge. We'll get Pete's take on all of that coming up. It's 8:09 at WIBX.
Hey, it's Dana Cortez, and I'm married to DJ Automatic. When it comes to big life decisions, having options is something I value for our family, especially when it comes to saving money. That's why I love State Farm.
State Farm knows everyone has a budget, and they've got options like insuring your car and your home, getting you great rates on both, or they can help personalize your policy with options so that you can get a surprisingly great rate.
I love that option. Saving money, that's what it's all about, so we bundle our home and our car. So for surprisingly great rates, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Two very different people are running to become the next Oneida County clerk. One has made wild, false claims in her commercials, picked fights with the county executive, the county legislature, and others. She denigrates anyone who disagrees and clearly believes that her law degree has given her superpowers and the know-how to do everybody else's job. On the other side, there's Mary Finnegan, a level-headed, common-sense leader who served as clerk in the town of Whitestown for the last 17 years. She wrote and won a grant that modernized the office, made customer service a priority, and now wants to do the same for Oneida County. She will keep the Rome DMV open, and she'll work to improve the experience at all DMV locations. All this while protecting the public's private information. The fact is, there's no one better suited for this job. This election, please vote for experience. Vote Mary Finnegan, Oneida County Clerk, paid for by Friends of Mary Finnegan.
Make the season even brighter with beautiful jewelry from JTV. Shop jtv.com/radio and get $25 off your purchase of $50 or more. You'll discover more than 40,000 jewelry designs and gifts. That's enough to keep everyone on your list sparkling all season long. Plus, new customers will receive $40 in brilliant cash rewards to use towards their next jewelry purchase. Shop jtv.com/radio and let JTV fill your holiday with sparkle.
Adirondack Home Furniture wants you to fall in love with your home again. With their timeless design and incredible craftsmanship, their furniture is the type of furniture that gets passed down from generation to generation. For years, Adirondack Home Furniture has been providing quality and comfort to Central New York. From American-made pieces and new Amish pieces to top designers, Adirondack Home Furniture has what you want. Whether you're looking to redo your living room, dining room, bedroom, kids' rooms, or just need some pieces to get your home ready for the holidays, Adirondack Home Furniture has that perfect piece. With a fully stocked showroom and the best prices of the season, you need to stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture has non-commissioned salespeople, which means you enjoy a relaxing, low-pressure shopping experience. They also pride themselves on their unmatched customer service and attention to detail. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and get your home ready for the holidays. Riverside Center in North Utica, or go to AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Hello, I'm Mary Bogdan, Chief Executive Officer for Hospice and Palliative Care. A patient's wife recently shared her thoughts about their experience with hospice and palliative care. Recently, my husband and I embarked on the journey of life that comes to us all. Our involvement with hospice is what made all the difference. Everyone who touched our lives during those 7 weeks helped us more than you know. His nurses, the spiritual care coordinator, the on-call nurse, who came to our door at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the people on the phone who offered compassion and just listened. The entire staff will always be in our grateful thoughts and prayers. The work hospice does is extraordinary and will never be forgotten by our family. We thank you with a grateful heart.
Hospice and Palliative Care, servicing Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison County. Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, 315-735-6484, or visit us at hospicecareinc.org. Hospice and Palliative Care. When you need us most.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 8:13, and I have to say Mohawk Valley Edge is doing special awards that are handed out. I mean, we actually have Hannah Phillips from Mohawk Valley Edge in here right now. Handed out to businesses and organizations that are doing good things in the community. And pull that mic, if you could, Hannah, right there. And kind of angle it
Yeah,
so
you can manipulate it.
Okay,
don't. Sometimes you crank on it and it comes right back and hits you in the teeth.
I don't want that to happen.
You do not want that to happen.
Ceremony.
No. So, okay, tell us about these awards.
Sure. So, Leading Edge Awards were actually instituted in 1998 to do what you just said, Bill. Promote area businesses that are making an impact. For those who are unaware, Mohawk Valley Edge does work, of course, in Oneida County, but Herkimer County as well. So that brings us to our feature for today, which is Enchanted Forest Water Safari.
So why did you select Enchanted Forest?
Sure. So what we were looking at is businesses that have made an impact over time. I'm originally from Mohawk, New York. I've been to Enchanted Forest Water Safari many a time over the years. Without Enchanted Forest Water Safari, I don't know what Old Forge would look like, truly.
Right.
So we went in and we thought, okay, they would be an excellent organization to feature from the tourism sector.
Mm-hmm.
They generate a lot of impact on Herkimer County, New York State, the broader area. So we thought, all right, this is an excellent fit.
And on the line from Water Safari is Katie. Hi, Katie. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good. This is Katie Waldia, if I have that correct. Katie.
Pretty close.
Wadilla. Okay. Well, good morning and congratulations. Obviously, this is a big award from Mohawk Valley Edge.
Yeah, we're very honored. I mean, it's nice to be recognized. You know, our feeling that our hard work over the years is paying off. So it's a wonderful accomplishment for us.
So talk about some of the for you, some of the things that makes your organization different and important to the community, and really, as Holly just said, important to this region for several years, for a long time.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time. The park opened in '56, so we've got well over 60 years of history there, and our family purchased it in 1977. So it, again, over 40 years of consistency with our family, and it means a lot. We sell fun, so it gives an escape to Central New Yorkers to get away, and we're doing a lot for today's youth. We're giving them their first job. We're training them and paving the way for them in future careers, and it's something that we take pride in, and it's been very rewarding.
Yeah.
Obviously the draw, as you said, we sell fun. You got the water park, the Enchanted Park. Can you talk about how, as we evolve, I guess, as people, as kids evolve, what they're entertained with? How do you try to stay on top of that? Because everything seems to be digital, or games, or searching an app on their phone.
Yeah.
How do you stay relevant to the kids?
Well, we've got that rich tradition of the rides and the water rides. I mean, we've just this past, I guess it was 2 years ago now, we put in the drop slides. So people are standing up at the top, and it's something that's a little bit more unique, and then the floor drops out under them. So, stuff like that to stay on the cutting edge. Our industry is pretty awesome in that regard. There's always something new happening. There's just tons of innovation and technology that can come into the park. So it's a great for us to stay on top of those things and hope that we're keeping something fresh for our guests to keep coming back.
Katie, I don't want to sound old, but for my parents, this has been a tradition because they have all the photos of me and my brothers at Enchanted Forest back in the 70s, and it was very important to them that we go back to Enchanted Forest and get my kids' pictures and their grandchildren in the very same spots that our photos were taken. So there is that amazing tradition for families. But beyond that, at what point did the bell go off for you guys to add the water portion? Because prior to that, when I went as a kid, there was none of that.
Oh, really?
No.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
No, that's true. So it's kind of an interesting story. So my sister Kelly and I run the business now, but our father bought the park in '77. So at that point, he tracked the weather for a few years and decided that he didn't want to compete in the roller coaster race between some of the bigger, Six Flags type parks that were, had roller coasters and stuff. And at that time is when water rides were just coming onto the scene. In America, they were starting to pop up. And so I think they went out to California and checked out the park and decided that, okay, we can make a water park work in upstate New York, not only in upstate New York, but in the Adirondack Mountains.
Right.
He went for it, took a risk, and we put in our first water slide in 1984. And then, every couple of years thereafter, we kept going and expanding. So, here we are today, New York's largest water theme park, and, it's something that we're going to keep doing. We're going to keep going forward with water rides, and that's our niche. Because
I got to tell you, that was brilliant. When you when you look around at these parks like Enchanted Forest, throughout history, and all the parks in upstate New York, most of them are not even around anymore. Mm-hmm. The move to water completely lifted Enchanted Forest to a whole different level.
Yes, definitely. Just something unique and made it stand out among the rest. And here we are today. It's amazing.
I hate to say it, I didn't realize that bit of history, and I couldn't picture that park without the water slides and everything that goes with it. So I wanted to ask as well, Hannah mentioned about your impact on Old Forge. Do you have numbers that you release as far as visitors this year or people from outside the area that you attract to Old Forge and to your water park?
I mean, we attract, approximately over 200,000 visitors a year. So, most of that comes from Central New York. Utica's our top market, Watertown, Syracuse, Rochester. So, but really the heart of Central New York, that Utica area, is our main draw.
And then I'd like to just some of the history. So beyond the addition in 1984 of the water theme park, the water parks and the water rides, talk about some of the historic elements of Enchanted Forest, the things that have been, obviously, there's Paul Bunyan, which is where we had to have our picture taken.
Yeah, absolutely. You and everybody else.
Yeah, and the Crooked House, because I easily still to this day can fit in there without bumping my head. And then there's the history, like the Flying Wallendas, and talk about some of that if you could.
Yeah, so, in addition to Paul Bunyan, a lot of our storybook characters and houses have been at the park since it opened in 1956. So, we take great pride in making sure that they're kept up well and, repainted and fixed up. We've had a circus every year at the park since 1956, with the exception of not opening in 2020 with COVID, but I guess that doesn't count. So, We've had acts like the Flying Wallendas, the Zerbinis, the Hannaford Circus, Dondi and Family. So, it's kind of that, again, back to that tradition that we've had at the park over the years. And, we love to continue that type of thing. So, moving forward, we have plans to keep the circus and bring in, new and unique acts. So it's just, that part of the history is pretty awesome because, looking back at some of the famous acts we've had is pretty amazing.
Hannah, anything you want to add?
Sure. So I would actually like to ask, what does receiving this Leading Edge Award mean to you? What does it mean to yourself, to your family, and to this larger tradition of Enchanted Forest Water Safari?
Yeah, we've had, a rough go at it the past few years, not only with not being able to open in 2020 with COVID, as I mentioned, not knowing what the next year was going to bring. Are we going to be able to still be here? So, and then fast forward to the the past 2 summers, and they've been challenging. I mean, business has been great. We're thankful for that. The staffing shortages that are hitting everyone, it's been a challenge. So, I mean, it means a lot to, have our hard work recognized. Kelly and I are second generation, family-run business, and, you don't see that, family businesses having those success stories, especially amidst, an uphill battle. So, and we have a great team behind us that makes it all happen, and we couldn't do it without them. So it's really rewarding to be recognized.
And it's not just the kids that get their summer job up there. I know many adults that work in Enchanted Forest every summer.
Yeah.
And it's quite a tradition. And by the way, whenever I have a piece of rock candy, I think of the Enchanted Forest. That was it's where you got it.
Great.
So. Okay, Katie, great stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, enjoy the winter.
All right, yes,
Okay.
you too. Thank you.
All right. Thanks
you.
so much. Good stuff. So we're going to do, there are a total of, 5 winners?
Yes.
Yep. So we'll do one each, we're going to do one each day this week. So anything you want to add to all of that? It's good to celebrate the businesses that are doing big things here.
Definitely, and
Yeah.
we've got a whole lot of it to showcase, so we look forward to
Right.
connecting you all with more stories and a little bit more info about the breadth of the region and what's happening here in Central New York.
All right. Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll talk tomorrow. Got a break. It's 8:24 at WIBX.
This election, vote to re-elect Assemblyman Brian Miller. He's one of us.
I'm Brian Miller. As your assemblyman, I've been advocating for upstate New Yorkers like you.
Brian puts politics aside and works to create better jobs. He fights for farmers, education, and the expansion of broadband, leaving no one behind.
I vote to remove burdens to job growth and small businesses, stand with farmers, and work to bring broadband to our region so our communities aren't left behind.
He's fought to prove new gun mandates unconstitutional. And as we're all forced to tighten our financial belts because of inflation, Brian is demanding Albany do the same.
Crushing costs because of inflation and state policies have made it harder for all of us. We've all been tightening our financial belts, and I've voted for Albany to do the same, while I continue to fight for you.
So this election, re-elect Brian Miller in New York's 122nd Assembly District because he's one of us. Paid for by Brian Miller for Assembly.
Truck crash? Choose William Mattar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. After a crash, an investigation may need to be started immediately. So call now. When you visit WilliamMattar.com, you'll see that motor vehicle accidents are what we do. Truck crash? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse. 315-444-4444.
Two very different people are running to become the next Oneida County clerk. One has made wild, false claims in her commercials, picked fights with the county executive, the county legislature, and others. She denigrates anyone who disagrees and clearly believes that her law degree has given her superpowers and the know-how to do everybody else's job. On the other side, there's Mary Finnegan, a level-headed, common-sense leader who served as clerk in the town of Whitestown for the last 17 years. She wrote and won a grant that modernized the office, made customer service a priority, and now wants to do the same for Oneida County. She will keep the Rome DMV open, and she'll work to improve the experience at all DMV locations. All this while protecting the public's private information. The fact is, there's no one better suited for this job. This election, please vote for experience. Vote Mary Finnegan, Oneida County Clerk, paid for by Friends of Mary Finnegan.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Julie Grow Denton, longtime practicing attorney and law clerk in federal, state supreme, and county surrogate court. Julie Grow Denton, high school valedictorian, honors graduate from Bucknell and Harvard Law. Julie Grow Denton, candidate for state Supreme Court.
I'm Julie Groh-Denton. Every community deserves to have judges in whom you take great pride. From an early age, my parents instilled a love of family and a strong work ethic. Born and raised near my dad's family in Rome, vacations and holidays with my mom's family in the North Country. My career has brought me to courtrooms and law offices across our region, all while raising 2 children with my husband, driving them throughout Central New York for scholastics and sports. I know our communities. I value the importance of treating others with respect. I love the law, and I will make you proud. I ask for your vote.
Elect Julie Groh-Denton to state Supreme Court. Paid for by the committee to elect Julie Groh-Denton for Supreme Court.
Hey, there are a lot of people out there right now in need of a bathroom makeover. New York Sash is helping them accomplish this for less. Right now, it's the Bathroom Makeover Sale, where you can get 20% off your bathroom remodeling project. And do it right now, but the sale ends tomorrow. Actually, it'll last opportunity to take advantage of it is today. New York Sash acrylic bath system will never mold or mildew because it is non-porous. Easy to clean and maintain, won't chip or peel, and it's scratch resistant with dozens of design options that simulate stone or tile. New York Sash has you covered. And the sale, 20% off right now, ends today. So take advantage of it. Reach out to New York Sash today, or you can visit their showroom in Whitesboro. And you can also go online 24/7 at newyorksash.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, we said we'd have Pete Sobel on, the chairman of the United County Republican Party, and he is on the line right now. A lawsuit from the Constitutional Caucus, or the Constitutional Party in Utica. That's Jim Zecca and his group. They filed a lawsuit against the county committee, and that lawsuit was thrown out. And on the line is Pete Sobel right now. Pete, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So first of all, what was the charge? They wanted to reverse the decision for chairman.
There were 4 points
Okay.
in their lawsuit. It was to invalidate the meeting, the reorganizational meeting that we had on September 28th. It was to invalidate my election and the appointment of my officers. It was to invalidate the appointment of the people that we added to the committee, and they wanted the judge to order a new reorganizational meeting.
So obviously,
those were the merits of their case.
My question, I do have to ask, because they named certain people, including yourself, in the lawsuit. Why? Because the suit was against the committee. Why would they name you personally?
They named 5 individuals, myself, my vice chair, my secretary, my treasurer, my parliamentarian. They also named the county party itself, the state board of elections, and the county board of elections. So there are a lot of meritless claims in their filing.
I believed, and I've talked about this, that there seems to have been over the last couple of years a movement by this group, Jim Zecca and others, to take over the United County Republican Party. And this was a move, but it failed quite miserably. The judge threw everything out. Talk about that.
Yeah, so yes, you're right, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the name Steve Piacentino, because he's the one that filed the suit against us.
Yep.
His name was on it. Certainly, I think he claims to be a chair of the Constitutional Caucus. They're a dangerous group, and certainly it should be a wake-up for all of us Republicans to make sure that we're fighting for candidates and not against one another.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question about the dismissal, on when there's a statute of limitations on when you can knock someone up or claim that there's an issue.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. I'll let you
driving in and just
understand
merging
that.
in traffic.
Okay. I'd rather have you be safe out there.
So there's a statute of limitations on when you can file a claim. There's a statute of limitations on when you can file a claim.
Yep.
They were outside of that statute of limitations, and it's clear in the law. And that's certainly what our defense was, or I should say that's what our motion was. And the judge agreed with us. And in addition to that, none of us were served timely. There's also a certain period of time in which we need to be served. with the lawsuit, and that didn't occur correctly either. And so that's why we filed 2 motions to dismiss. The county Board of Elections joined us in the same motion, and the judge heard both sides, and he agreed with us.
This has to do with reorganization, correct? What is the term that you reorganized for?
So every 2 years, a county party, just as the state does, has what's called a convention, and we reorganize to elect your chairman, and then you appoint your officers. So that's the purpose of the meeting.
And this committee,
as well as fill vacancies on the committee. So not every seat does someone go carry petitions for themselves to be on the committee, and then so we go and we seek out people that want to be on the committee and be a part of the Republican team, and we appoint them. Some of these appointees are people that were appointed by chairs in certain towns or cities or wards, and some are appointed by me. As the chairman, I'm allowed to do that.
And you, Pete, you called the Constitutional Caucus, this group, dangerous. Why are they dangerous?
Well, they're starting to organize in. There's becoming more of them.
It's gotta concern you that they received 24% of the committee vote. That's concerning, I would think.
Yeah, so when you refer to the 24%, you're referring to the election where Ken Roser ran against me for chairman.
Yep.
And I won. Yeah, and I won 76% to 24%. Yeah, it's concerning that a quarter of the caucus is new blood, and they're people that have a different thought on how the Republican Party should be run. And so so that's concerning because I don't want them to take it over. I mean, we're here to help candidates and find good candidates and get Republicans elected. They're working on political infighting.
There's also the belief that you're either with them or you're a rhino. No matter how long you've been in the Republican Party, how conservative you really are, you're a rhino. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah. If you search Ben Crenshaw, who wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal last week, it certainly talks about this. It's Republicans pitting against Republicans, and he classifies them as rhinos and MAGAs. And if you're not those, if you're not a MAGA, then you're nothing. And that's really not the way I think or most Republicans think.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, this was I would imagine how you expected this to be ruled on. The merits of of their case not even considered here, because based on the law, they missed certain checkpoints that they had to hit in order to even be considered. So the merits of this weren't even considered. Am I correct?
That's correct. And let me just say this, Bill, that assuming the merits were considered, and assuming that we took those appointees that we put on the committee off and we didn't allow them to vote, the results were still close to 70% for me and 30% for Ken Roser. So the outcome wouldn't have been any different.
Okay, Pete, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, guys.
You do the same.
Thank
Drive
you.
safely out there. Thank you.
Busy this morning and traveling, and we appreciate him taking a few minutes to call in to kind of get a better understanding of this.
All right, I want to get an update on Orlando Spato. He is the guy from Rome we've spoken to before, who is he's written the book Accidental Gangster. He has, now he's spent time with Sinatra. He spent time, he explains how he accidentally became a, quote, gangster. And his story has been picked up, and it's going to become a movie. We'll get an update from him in a few minutes. And also, County Executive Anthony Piceni coming right in on WIBX.
Adirondack Home Furniture wants you to fall in love with your home again. With their timeless design and incredible craftsmanship, their furniture is the type of furniture that gets passed down from generation to generation. For years, Adirondack Home Furniture has been providing quality and comfort to Central New York. From American-made pieces and new Amish pieces to top designers, Adirondack Home Furniture has what you want. Whether you're looking to redo your living room, dining room, bedroom, kids' rooms, or just need some pieces to get your home ready for the holidays, Adirondack Home Furniture has that perfect piece. With a fully stocked showroom and the best prices of the season, you need to stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture has non-commissioned salespeople, which means you enjoy a relaxing, low-pressure shopping experience. They also pride themselves on their unmatched customer service and attention to detail. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and get your home ready for the holidays. Riverside Center in North Utica, or go to AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
I'm Marima Smagic-Oren, and I'm running for Oneida County Clerk. I forced the Oneida County political establishment to reopen the Rome DMV. If I can cause this kind of change as a candidate, think of what I can do as county clerk. The Rome DMV is reopening because I held Tony Picenti's feet to the fire by going to the Oneida County Legislature 3 times. Now, he's afraid my opponent is going to lose because she did not. Picenti tried to close the Rome DMV in 2012 and has been choking it ever since. A leopard never changes its spots. The truth is that, after the election, Picenti will try to close the Rome DMV again. I won't let that happen. I won't stop fighting for Rome. If Mary Finnegan is elected, she will be Picenti's puppet. Unlike Mary Finnegan and the rest of the Oneida County establishment, I put people over politics. That's why the Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren paid for this message.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, County Executive Anthony Picenti is in studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
You got to hang a little bit because we have
Absolutely.
a real celebrity on the line now.
Gosh.
Orlando Spado is initially from Rome. Are you in Hollywood now or in Vegas, Orlando? Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good.
I'm in Beverly Hills, California.
Okay, all right.
Beautiful.
Well, say hi to everybody here. The County Executive, Anthony Picenti, is here. Manaski over here.
I'm excited to hear you got a movie coming.
He has a book that's called Accidental Gangster, and it shows how you just automatically somehow moved into this position where you were helping settle things and settle scores. All of this, you witnessed so much. You wrote the book, and now you have a movie deal.
Yes, I do.
All right.
It's being directed by George Gallo, who did wrote Midnight Run, several other movies, 29th Street, Middlemen. Nick Villanoga producing. He's an Oscar winner for his book, Green Book. The movie with Viggo Mortensen. I built up a great team of people here in Hollywood.
Nice.
Going from the dark side of Hollywood, where I was handling problems and settling things for people, to coming out to create. And we have, in addition to mine, we got a project that's moving really quickly. It's going to become a TV series. It's called Chameleon.
Interesting.
It's about Frank Vanessa, a DEA agent that went undercover, brought down the Pizza Connection. And one of the most amazing guys, we got Louis Diaz, who brought down Nicky Barnes. So we got a lot of good stories coming from my team. It's only taken me several years to build.
Wow, yeah.
What's the Pizza Connection? I don't know what that is.
Well, many years ago was the heroin, where all the pizza places in New York.
Okay.
Frank Vanessa, Joe Pistone Frank Vanessa is Joe Pistone's mentor. To tell you who Frank is.
Okay.
Frank went undercover of all 5 crime families in New York, plus Philadelphia, Detroit, and in Sicily. He went undercover as a Muslim in Pakistan. He went undercover in a federal prison in Atlanta.
Wow.
Brought down the gun smuggling ring. The stories that we have, and we got Kohlhauser from Yellowstone that's reading for the lead for this TV series right now.
Oh, it's going to be enormous.
This all began by Scott Bernstein out of Detroit, who's a mob historian, wanted to write the book on Frank. They were dealing with a couple guys out here in Hollywood, and they got screwed around for over 2 years.
Wow.
And Scott was ready to lose. I remember that day, July 9th. I was on my way. I was a celebrity guest at the Napoleon Hill Foundation fundraiser.
Okay.
I pulled over on Sunset. I assured Frank that I'll take care of it. He's in good hands. And believe it or not, we're doing it from July 9th to today. It's like record breaking in Hollywood.
Wow, that is just but it really is incredible. How much of the in the movie? How much of your dealings with Sinatra and some of those guys? How much will that play a part of it?
That play a little part of it, not much. The movie's taking place. I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
And primarily, mostly be taking place here in Hollywood. And we have, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's who's on our list.
All right.
All right. To play Ori.
Oh, who's
John
going
to...
Okay.
Miles Teller, Sam Rockwell, Oscar Isaac, Henry Cavill. All right. We made the FBI agent a female. It's a lead role.
Okay.
We have Jessica Chastain, Tessa Thompson, Gal Gadot, Zoe Saldana, or Margot Robbie.
Okay, so you haven't selected who's going to do it as of yet.
No, we're really seriously leaning towards Sam Rockwell.
Okay. Well, listen, what you ought to do is bring us in on. We'll help make the decision on who should play the FBI agent. I like it.
We'll do a survey over there.
Okay, we can do it.
Yeah, we should do
All
that.
right, listen, I am, and I know you got up early this morning, and I appreciate it, and I'm, and I know you get mad, and I don't want you to, put a hit out on me or anything when I cut you short, but I'd love to have you come back on with the producer. Do you think you can get him to come on with us?
Yes, I could.
I would love that. You name the time, we'll make that happen.
All right, listen, what I'd like to do before you leave me hanging again.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Anybody today.
Yep.
All right, that goes to my website and purchases an autographed copy from my website, you will get free shipping, and I will immediately send you a free audiobook.
Wow. And this is this is today only. You got it. It's the Accidental Gangster. Yep.
Accidentalgangster.com.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and every place else.
All right.
Find books.
What is your website? What's your website again?
The accidentalgangster.com.
The accidentalgangster.com.
Yeah.
All right.
The remarks when they order, they must put the Bill Keeler Show.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. And you'll get free shipping. You'll get a free audiobook, and of course the autograph, which is prior to the movie. That's the big deal here. Prior to the movie. All right, Orlando. Very excited. You're putting Rome on the map. I'm telling you.
Well, Rome's always been on
it. It has been. That's a good point. That's a good point. Wow. All right.
New York place. I'm very happy to say that I came from there.
Orlando Spato. The book is Accidental Gangster, theaccidentalgangster.com. Check it out. There's a movie on the way, and we'll do this again. Let's get that producer in, all right?
Oh, you got it.
All right, Orlando. Thank you so much.
You said that you don't like to have Mr. Spato hang. You don't want to leave him hanging.
I don't want to leave him
but
hanging.
Trust me, you don't want him to leave you hanging.
That's
okay?
a good point. That's a good point.
That's what I would be worried about. But the cast here, Jessica Chastain, if there's any chance, Ori, if there's any chance you can get me lunch with Jessica Chastain, you can have my spot on this show forever.
He's the arranger. He arranges things, so he might be able to do it.
Just one lunch?
County Executive Anthony Pacini in studio right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I want to ask you about if we could, the Constitutional Caucus and their lawsuit. Were you named in it too?
I was I wasn't named so much as it wasn't against me, or I wasn't a charge or
kind of all about you.
But
though.
it was one of the things was that I had remained at the meeting that evening, and that the bylaws prohibit anybody from being in the meeting who is not a member of the committee. Because I'm not a committee person.
Understood.
I'm not on the Republican.
But we never even got to address
But however,
that.
but the truth was,
Yeah.
I mean, I did not remain for the vote. I remained, I went there, which, I'm the county executive of I'm a Republican in the Republican Party, et cetera. I listened to I wanted to hear the two candidates. Obviously, Pete Sobel has, been, the chairman for a number of years. I support Pete. He's a great partner. And listened to him and his opponent. And once the speeches were done, I left. And they said that I stayed for the entire vote, which was not true.
But as it turns
out, it's kind of crazy. I mean, what was I? I mean, so if I stayed in the back or whatever, I mean,
right.
which I didn't, but
yeah. But as it turned out, we never even got to look at the judge. Didn't even look at that part because
really
it got thrown out.
Because it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was, it was really, again, it just shows. I mean, are you serious about, I mean, the speech was working together and trying to blend, with differing views or whatever. I'm not really sure what they stand for, but clearly it wasn't anything productive other than, disruptive.
This is the movement, and from what I understand, that's been going on for quite some time. It's kind of an anti-Pacenti, looking at like 24% of Republicans they seem to have gathered, and there is it kind of comes from the fact that you're a rhino and really not a member of the Republican Party, which comes, and many of these people in this Constitutional Caucus were 5 years ago were Democrats.
We're Democrats, right?
Yeah.
I know. I've been a Republican 40 plus years, and like I said before, I've gotten more Republicans elected and worked on campaigns myself, everything. Yeah, my biggest sin is and look, I don't hide from the one endorsement that caused me pain, but moved the community forward, and I won't apologize for it. I mean, but obviously, I can regret the individual, but at the end of the day, I did what was best for this community. And look, if that one
be
thing,
damned if you ever do that again, Tony.
If that one thing is what after all I've done, I mean, 10 consecutive budgets with a zero. I mean, what's more conservative than that? I mean, and what else? In terms of spending and everything else. So, there'll be a time for me to argue my record.
You said 40 years as a Republican. Is it uncomfortable to wear the costume that long? So I figured I'd throw in a Halloween joke.
Okay. I just want to talk about some of the things that are going on. You have the Nexus about to open.
About to open.
That is obviously a piece of work that a lot of different people have worked on, but this is going to be big, a big part of the puzzle for downtown.
It is.
And a big part of your puzzle that you put together for the region. You look at what's happening at Griffiths, Wolf Speed, the transformation in downtown Utica, the hospital, which is going to be opening up next year. Here we are moving towards the end of 2022, and we'll go into 2023 with a lot of these things that have been worked on for the last 10 years coming to fruition.
Yeah, we have. I think what's rewarding, and as we see it, and as Nexus opens in the next couple of weeks, I mean, what's rewarding is just seeing a real transformation of, when you look at Griffiths, when you look at Utica and Rome in the city, both cities, in terms of transformation of the skylines of the city. I mean, in terms of growth and in terms of activity and the removal of blight. And you cannot argue that point at all. I mean, that look at downtown Utica, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Look at it today. I mean, it's still under construction, but at the end of this, you're going to see a whole new landscape and a medical campus and and then an entertainment and sports venue, right directly across the street from each other. This is going to transform,
Yeah.
the whole way, the perception, not only perception, but activity, growth, and then, transfer over to Marcy, to Rome, to New Hartford. I mean, there's so many different pieces here. So, again, when I look at that, I mean, that's what drives me every day, and that's what when going back to the other issue of people talking about whether they like my policies or record or whatever. I mean, I'm proud of what we've done, and it's there were a lot of these things that came up that people said could not be done.
Right. One of your critics who was in studio a few weeks ago talked about Wolf Speed and the amount of money that went into that and the amount of effort that went into that and the number of jobs that has come out of that. Mm-hmm. However, we're seeing a plant that is going to be, this is a huge deal that's happening in Syracuse. But doesn't that, along with Albany, along with the productivity that's happened in Marcy, and then you take a look at Griffiths, doesn't it all work together? Hasn't the ground been laid to now grow to a completely different level? Isn't that the hope, or what's the vision?
It is.
Out of all of this?
Do you really? And as I've said before, I credit Onondaga County, my good friend Ryan McMahon, and everybody that was involved in Micron. But does Micron happen if Wolf Speed doesn't? You kind of got to ask the question about that, because you're looking at an industry that is really centric on competition and on
Right.
scope of what they can attract in terms of a workforce, but also where they want to do, where they think the best place to continue their business is. So all of those things come together, and and while they can talk about job numbers, I mean, they're ramping up every day. I mean, and we've got some other exciting things coming at Griffiths that could lead to 300-400 jobs, more jobs. So all of that is it's a part of what what we've been building upon. And the Micron piece, do you really think everybody that's going to work there is going to live in Onondaga County?
Right.
I mean, they're not. They're going to live in believe it, Herkimer, Oneida, Madison, Lewis, Cayuga, everywhere around, the same way they do at Wolf Speed. Mm-hmm. So I just heard a story. My sister was telling me that that there were 5 new families that moved into an area in New Hartford that were from Washington State, Georgia, Florida. I mean, I'm at a loss for the states, but there were 5 different families, 5 different states moved here, to work at Wolf Speed and at I forgot the other and
Yep.
another place at Griffiths, and all came here, love it here. I mean, bought houses. I mean, those are stories that got to be told. I mean, that's what's happening.
On another note, there are a lot of people wondering and still asking the question of what's going to happen. So the hospital will be opening next year, mm-hmm. but still, what happens at St. E's? What happens at St. Luke's?
Well, I mean, obviously, those are questions that have to be answered and have to be looked at, and we have been in discussions with the hospital system and on with Mohawk Valley Edge, working closely, and I know that those are 2 main areas that are prime for development, and the question is going to become I think on both of them, what is you have to weigh the reuse or the removal.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's really what it's going to come down to on both of those,
yep. Yep.
structures, and those are things that we have to review over time. And I think given the amount of time, I mean, everybody says, "What are you doing with them?" Well, you can't really do anything, and you can't really plan anything right now until they're vacated. I know that so we'll have to keep an eye on that and really weigh that.
Comment from me, and then a question from a listener. My son, his new best friend, just came here from Germany.
Really?
Relocated, and
wow.
I think it's Griffiths related, not Wolf Speed. Okay. But I found that interesting. I'm like, "Where's your buddy from?" He's like, "Germany." I'm like, "Really?" I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So the question is, will you endorse Zelensky in the assembly race, and what have you done locally for endorsements?
I really haven't done. I mean, other than Brandon Williams. Look, it's always a given that we support. Republican candidates. I mean, I work with everybody. And it's difficult in the spot that you are working with everybody, and then in that election year, you're supposed to turn around and say they're not doing their job. So in terms of endorsements, it only matters. I mean, I get criticized when I endorse or when I don't endorse. So I've been trying to just support who I believe is the best candidates in that regard, and support the Republican Party. I mean, I've worked very hard for the Republican Party over the years. I continue to do that, so I don't need to put it on my sleeve in the form of endorsements.
And then finally, have you traveled down Genesee Street, and do you enjoy the new bike lanes?
I have my own views on that situation as well. I mean, I have not ridden my bike down Genesee Street.
He took a skateboard.
I can tell you that
yeah.
right now. But that's another.
I could see you on one of those.
Electric.
They call it the IT, right, where you got to kind of balance yourself on it.
The one with the
high,
things
maybe
that you see in the big cities, the high like scooter.
Yeah, I think that is
Did you have just 2 feet on it, kind of one wheel?
You can go fast. You can be thrown when you get hit by a car. I mean, it's
you can
a
delivery truck or whatever.
County executive, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll do it again tomorrow. We're a week away from Election Day.
We are,
and early voting is underway.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Portions of the program today brought to you by Adirondack Bank. Thinking of a mortgage? Think Adirondack Bank. Your dream begins at Adirondack. Whether it's your first home or a refinance, they have the product that'll suit your needs perfectly. A local bank with local decisions. Go to adkbank.com. Whatever your needs are, they have you covered for a mortgage. It is Adirondack Bank, member FDIC.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
8 days to get out the vote. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Election Day is a week from tomorrow.
I think we can be at 52 or 53 in the Senate. I think we're going to take the House.
South Carolina Senate Republican Lindsey Graham. President Biden campaigns in Florida tomorrow for Charlie Crist. He's the Democrats' candidate for governor. The Trump Organization criminal trial gets going this morning in New York.
The Trump Organization, the company of former President Donald Trump, is accused of what prosecutors say was a 15-year scheme to bankroll big perks for its senior executives. Opening statements are expected today, as well as witness testimony. Among those testifying against the company, its longtime finance chief Alan Weisselberg, who pleaded guilty in exchange for a 5-month jail sentence. Neither the former president nor his children, who have worked for the company, are charged or accused of wrongdoing. If convicted, the Trump Organization could be fined more than $1 million. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Lawsuits filed on behalf of 2 men wrongly convicted of assassinating civil rights leader Malcolm X are settled with New York City and state for $36 million.
Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam spent decades behind bars for the 1965 murder of Malcolm X. Aziz, who is 84 years old, and Islam, who died in 2009, always maintained their innocence. Both men were exonerated last year when New York's district attorney acknowledged evidence of witness intimidation and suppression evidence. Now, Aziz and Islam's estate will split $36 million, $26 million from New York City and $10 million from the state of New York.
It's Fox's Richard Jordan. The confessed killer, also convicted, was paroled in 2010. Annual inflation in the European Union has come in at 10.7% this month, the highest it's been since they started measuring it as a block in 1980. The Fox News, the Fox News, Fox News, Fox News, Fox News, Fox News, Fox News.
On 9/11, 2,977 people were killed in the worst terrorist attacks of their kind on American soil. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes and their families ever since. Our nation's heroes, people who put their lives on the line for our country and our communities, need your help now more than ever. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Donate $11 a month at t2t.org. That's T2T.org.
Hi, I'm Lisa. Gold Group show you how tangible gold investments can help secure your future. Dial pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword goldgroup.com.
Would you vote for Biden, Pelosi, Kathy Hochul? Of course not. Then why would not? then why would you ever support Matt Castelli, a downstate Democrat, never voted here before. Castelli supports Biden's latest spending spree that increases inflation, raises home heating oil, and is the largest tax increase ever. And like Hochul, Castelli supports a gun ban. This election, say no to Biden, Pelosi, Hochul, and no way to Matt Castelli.
I'm Elise Stefanik. Every day I go to work with one thing in mind, getting results for upstate New York. From securing millions for our seniors, veterans, and local hospitals, to leading the fight to stop Biden's inflation crisis. I'll always back the blue and defend our Second Amendment, and I'm not afraid to take on the radical left who think they know better. They don't. I'm Elise Stefanik, candidate for Congress, and I approve this